He raised an axe, splitting the torrential thunder like a waterfall in half, while his left hand clenched into a fist, with ancient demon true power burning layer by layer, like a blood-red sun, smashing towards the side of Tianwu. Chun Sansi dodged nimbly like a swimming dragon, and a black light shot out from his palm, straight at the ancient demon's face. Magical treasure, Luofeng's soul-locking nail. Elder Sui Li was mostly focused on parrying the formation, with only a small part of his attention left. How could he withstand a divine sense attack? He was struck in the forehead by the black light, immediately feeling his head throb painfully, his vision dimming as if the world was spinning. This brief delay left him full of openings. The heaven, earth, and mortal tribulations fell unhindered. Sui Lian let out a ground-shaking wail. His gigantic figure, like a severed kite, drifted backward, whipping up gusts of wind where it passed, until it crashed into the boundary of the formation dozens of miles away and fell into a wide river, sending waves thousands of feet high. His originally indestructible Dharma body was now a bloody mess, bright red blood flowing out, dyeing the entire river a dark red. The formation did not pause, locking onto its target once more, determined to continue the onslaught and slaughter here. Sui Lian took out a dark black shield, holding it above his head to block the thunder, and roared furiously, "Chun Lei, brat, even if I die today, I will take you down with me." His heavily injured body had every inch of muscle boiling, dark golden demon blood mixed with law fragments gushing out. It seemed to activate a certain origin power, causing the malevolent chi from this ancient demon clan elder to increase rapidly in a short time. He discarded the giant axe, his huge hands reaching behind his back, inserting directly into the spinal crack, and began to pull out his spine. Each vertebra detaching from his body sounded like the shattering of metal and stone, the spine twisting and reshaping in the demonic flames, sprouting barbed tassels at the end, with liquid demonic chi flowing through the bone seams, corroding the space with a sizzling sound, eventually transforming into a spear. This person actually extracted his own spine, using it as a last-ditch magical treasure. A martial cultivator destroying their body is akin to a cultivator on the immortal path self-destructing their nascent soul. Once the spine spear was formed, the vegetation for miles around instantly withered. The spear's shaft was entwined with not mere demonic chi, but the physically manifest spatial cracks. Sui Lian shattered the earth vein and advanced, crossing several mountain ranges in just a few steps, as the spine spear surged with malevolent chi whirlwinds, tearing through the void, smashing towards the ant-sized Tianwu. Chun Sansi dared not confront it head-on, quickly retreating while using his mind to direct the thunderclouds to crash in front of him. Crack! Sui Lian's attack momentum paused again. Despite relying on the spine spear to finally parry the formation's attack, over time, the spiritual power on the spear continued to diminish. Continuing like this, he would eventually be exhausted to death. To break the situation, he had to escape the formation first. Sui Lian leapt up, like a mountain rising into the sky, holding the spine spear high, malevolent chi rolling endlessly, stabbing straight through the 9 heavens. Boom! His spear struck the dome of the formation barrier, producing a muffled sound. The formation showed some shaking but was not substantially damaged. Boom, boom, boom! Sui Lian repeatedly pounded the barrier, the rumbling sound of thunder never ceasing. The entire 3 Tribulations execution formation actually showed signs of damage. Of course, Chun Sansi couldn't just watch helplessly. He controlled the heaven, earth, and mortal tribulations, striking once more towards the ancient demon. But Sui Lian didn't dodge at all, instead holding the shield to resist while continuing to attack the barrier with the spear. The physique of the ancient demon clan is formidable, with legends from ancient times claiming the power to split heaven and earth. In a desperate situation, the power unleashed by this ancient demon elder was indeed beyond imagination, withstanding the bombardment of the heaven, earth, and mortal tribulations, tearing a gap in the barrier's surface. However, his injuries worsened, with dark purple scale armor peeling off like broken glass, blood gushing from the cracks in the armor, turning into poison miasma that eroded the mountain rock below. Chun Sansi concentrated the three tribulations into a single point, transforming into a purple giant sword spanning the heavens and earth, piercing through the clouds and directly stabbing towards the opponent. Boom! Sui Lian's shield could no longer hold, shattering into countless pieces, his flesh completely exploding, revealing the dark golden bones covered in inscriptions hidden deep within. He still ignored Tian Wu, continuing to focus on the breach, countless veins lighting up inside his body, like tiny vines covering his entire body. The ancient demon true blood began to surge visibly through his veins, flowing up his arms, and then onto the spine spear. Sui Lian's fat Yin Shangdi body noticeably shrunk after losing his original essence blood. However, his spine spear was even more dazzling in its blood-red light. Boom boom! Sui Lian watched the cracks on the boundary increase, his actions becoming more frantic, completely ignoring his physical injuries. Faster, even faster, as long as he could break the formation before dying. Even if he had just one breath left, he was confident he could perish alongside Tian Wu. Junior brother, be careful. On the ground, Meng Guangxin discerned the ancient demon's intention, and cold sweat broke out all over. This ancient demon was hell-bent on perishing together with his junior brother. Chun Sansi naturally realized the situation was dire and pushed the formation's power to its limit. Unfortunately, he was still a step too late. Sui Lian, gripping the spear, roared as he pierced towards the heavens, ultimately tearing open a massive rift in the boundary, akin to piercing the sky. Boom rumble. Once the formation was damaged, it was instantly like a punctured bubble. The three calamities in the world flickered unpredictably, unable to muster any killing force. Everything inside the boundary began to collapse on the core array plate. Cracks exploded continuously, starting to shake and sway. Chun Lei, prepare to die. Sui Lian's injuries had long been beyond remedy. He had already cast aside thoughts of life and death, his entire being filled with infinite war intent and overwhelming murderous aura. The ancient demon true power surged endlessly from the spine spear, blood-red light enveloping 1,000 miles. Then with the momentum of rainbow through the sun, he fiercely hurled it forward. Wherever the spear passed, the earth crumbled inch by inch, the sky twisted and deformed. Whether demon cultivators or sky wall city cultivators, they died instantly under the terrifying pressure of the evil chi. This strike far surpassed any move Sui Lian had made before. Even if nascent soul cultivators faced it head-on, they would surely suffer heavy injuries. But contrary to the ancient demon elder's expectations, Tian Wu did not dodge but stood in place, his gaze calm. Chun Sansi lifted the array plate, its surface filled with swirling array patterns, transforming into a vortex of golden light, fully absorbing the already damaged three tribulations, destroying nascent formation, as if pushing a brilliant golden sun forward. Array technique, returning ruins. The brilliant sun collided with the spine spear, mutually dissolving, the aftermath rippling out, overturning 100 miles of land. This is... Sui Lian's pupils trembled violently. The one surnamed Chun actually absorbed all the spiritual power from the destroyed three tribulations, destroying nascent formation, and cast it into a spell. Such a method clearly belonged to the fabled array great powers. This kid, by what right? The final strike failed to succeed. Sui Lian's body could no longer sustain itself, his limbs hanging powerlessly. He fell heavily backward, causing a violent earthquake. Chun Sansi pursued, the long spear wrapped in chaos true fire piercing through the already decayed flesh, stabbing fiercely into the massive, beating heart. Sui Lian's pupils gradually scattered, his enormous body no longer making any movements, completely losing life. Dead. Eft. Chun Sansi pulled the long spear from the heart, his face equally pale. Even relying on the formation to kill a fourth realm cultivator was such a strenuous effort. Moreover, this ancient demon cultivator was extraordinarily fierce and terrifying. Such a fine body, left to rot, was truly a pity and naturally needed to be utilized. Chun Sansi formed seals with both hands and cast a spell, infusing strands of flame into the 7 orifices of the enormous corpse. Flame Spirit Puppet, exorcising Demon's Great Wall. Xiao Paksu, Feng Qingyan, and Shangguan Yunji teamed up to deal with Zhao Rui and Chu San Yuan, only then managing to gain a slight upper hand. But even so, there was no sign of breaking the stalemate. And on the wasteland, whether it was the Great Han soldiers or the Tianshui cultivators, they were ultimately living beings of flesh and blood. How could they possibly oppose zombies, malicious spirits, and blood demons head-on? Moreover, fighting on the incomplete slaughter vein, they were innately at a disadvantage, gradually falling into a predicament amidst the chaotic slaughter. What shall we do now? Feng Qingyan's face was pale, his voice weak. If this fighting continues, we can hold out for at most another half an incense stick's time. Yes, Shangguan Yunji replied while dealing with the magical skills of the nascent soul of the demon path, his expression equally grave. I perceive some movement from the direction of bone-eroding ridge. It's very likely that Sui Lian has already slain Chen Lei. When he returns, I'm afraid we won't even have the chance to escape. Xiao Paksu's nascent soul miniature sternly said, If we leave, will Guangren Dao be lost? Feng Qingyan anxiously said, But Mr. Xiao, even if we don't leave, won't the final result be the same? Xiao Paksu was silent for a moment, then firmly said, Then we'll have to wait until Sui Lian really comes back with Chun Lei's head before saying anything. Feng Qingyan was helpless and could only continue to persist. Fellow Taoists, stop struggling in vain. Joining my great song Immortal Dynasty is the truly straightforward path. Zhao Rui spoke, transforming into a corpse dragon thousands of feet long, spiraling into the sky, then opened its massive mouth, spewing a waterfall of 10,000 years corpse chi. On the ground, Chu San Yuan waved the morning stick, sharp cries akin to infants' wails spread out, followed by countless resentful spirits with clawing gestures, rolling in overwhelming corpse chi, forming into a Yin Sha formation that trapped the group within. 2 fellow Taoists. Xiao Paksu looked to the side. With the great enemy before us, won't you reveal your trump cards? Shangguan Yunji and his companion exchanged a glance, both hesitant. They didn't want to suffer too many losses at Guangren Dao. As they hesitated, the ground suddenly started to shake violently. Boom! 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 Everyone turned their heads to see the wasteland's edge, where a gigantic figure leaped into the air and then heavily landed again. This was the figure of ancient demon elder Sui Lian. Repeating this several times, it crossed a distance of over 1,000 miles to the edge of the battlefield. Hee. Chu San Yuan let out a sinister laugh, speaking to the righteous nascent souls. 3 fellow Taoists. If you don't abandon the city and flee now, it'll be too late. She had only said half the sentence before her divine sense detected terrifying killing intent and pressure coming from behind. As she looked sideways, she saw the ancient demon elder wielding chains, swinging a colossal axe like a mountain, smashing toward her. Watch out, Emperor Tianqi warned. Chu San Yuan hurriedly lifted the hemp garment from her back, forming a black barrier in front of her. Boom! The giant axe fell, shattering the barrier. She flew backward like a kite with a broken string, stopping only when she crashed against the boundary of the exorcising demon's great wall, with black blood trailing from the corner of her mouth. Are you crazy? Chu San Yuan was about to curse but noticed something was amiss. She saw that flaming red flames with an ink-colored hue were burning in Sui Lian's 7 orifices, starkly different from his original cultivation technique style. On his massive shoulders stood a figure in a white robe. How are you together with him? No way. She used investigation magic to look and discovered that the divine soul in the ancient demon elder's heavenly spirit was already broken. Only a spark left flickering inside, controlling the entire shell like a parasite. As a nascent soul cultivator, how could Chu San Yuan not see the strangeness? But she was unwilling to believe it. Emperor Tianqi's dragon body stiffened, eyes trembling incessantly, repeatedly confirming the scene in front of them. In the end, they had to acknowledge one truth. And that was, Sui Lian was dead. This ancient demon clan's elder, a martial artist of the heaven and earth realm, died at the hands of a core formation cultivator. Not only that, his body was also controlled by some kind of puppetry technique. Not only were the two demon path cultivators shocked, Xiao Paksu and his two companions were equally astounded. They originally thought that if the ancient demon elder returned to bone-eroding ridge, Chen's escape would already be a miracle. But the result, not only did Chun Sansi return, but he also killed Sui Lian. In the cultivation journey, the gap between realms becomes greater the further one progresses. A gap of a few years in cultivation might exist between the middle stage and late stage of qi refinement, but between core formation and nascent soul it's often hundreds of years. Though it's rare, geniuses from each generation of young cultivators could achieve killing foundation establishment from qi refinement. Every few decades, stories circulate about someone using foundation establishment to kill a core formation, usually a true genius among geniuses. But to use the core formation realm, slaying a martial cultivator of the heaven and earth realm alone, it's something unheard of for nearly 500 years. Simply put, inconceivable. Taoist Tianwu. Such immense skill. Zhao Rui couldn't help but ask, "Is this your doing? Or the work of a demon seed?" "Don't waste words." Chun Sansi, without further ado, crafted hand seals, controlling Fatian Xiangdi, swinging the dragon entwining soul-shattering axe. After stirring up whirlwind after whirlwind of evil qi, he fiercely cleaved forwards. The corpse dragon Emperor Tianxi had transformed into raised 9 long blades to block, and they collided with the mountain-like giant axe, splashing a massive sea of sparks. "What are you still standing there for?" Xiao Paksu seized the opportunity, brandishing the golden cloud sword to attack. Shangguan Yunji and Feng Qingyan followed closely behind. The situation changed from a 3-on-2 to a 5-on-2 in an instant. The newly joined was the ancient demon elder from Fatian Xiangdi, and although it was just a shell, the combat power it could unleash in a short period was up to 80% of what it had when alive. Tianwu. Back then, I had a fondness for talent within the Luoshao Immortal Palace and couldn't bear to deal a fatal blow to you, which turns out to be the worst move of my life. We shall meet again another day. Zhao Rui couldn't withstand the siege by the crowd and once again spewed out a stream of corpse qi, dyeing the entire sky black, not only obscuring vision but also blocking divine sense. He vanished into it, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Chu Sin Yuan left a clone to distract attention, while his true body also vanished into the void, leaving no trace. Chun Sansi did not pursue but instead commanded the puppets to turn and launch a massacre against the Demon Path army, while using a long spear to lift Sui Li young master's head. The elders and the young master of the Sui Li clan have all been executed, and you Demon Path scoundrels, aren't you going to stretch your necks for a slaughter yet? Elder. Young master. The young master is dead, and the elder has been turned into a puppet. The official and Elder Chu have also retreated. Quick, run away. On the battlefield, once panic sets in, it collapses like a landslide. This is no exception even in the cultivation world. The ancient demon clan and disciples from various demon sects trampled each other in escape, and the warships hovering in the air all turned around. Even the blood demon army was controlled to retreat at the sound of the horn calling for withdrawal. Meanwhile, the great Han soldiers and Tianshui cultivators were greatly encouraged, engaging in a one-sided massacre. The great battle lasted until the next day's dawn, with the Demon Path army retreating for thousands of miles, temporarily guarding the devil-conquering Great Wall. Heavenly water power began to clean up the battlefield, and Sui Lian's shell finally couldn't hold up, collapsing with a thunderous crash, creating a deep pit. Chun Sansi released goo insects to devour the remaining true power. Ha ha! Feng Qingyan walked up, cupping his hands in praise. Tianwu Daoist is truly formidable. Not only have you broken through to the late stage of core formation during this retreat, but you also sealed the slaughter vein and slew the ancient demon with your strength alone. Indeed, a rare genius seen only once in 1,000 years, destined to become a great power one day. Yes. Shangguan Yunji followed up. To be honest, we almost gave up earlier. If we had really left, it would have been a disaster for millions of lives, truly shameful. Clang! Xiao Paksu's nascent soul returned to the cavern, retrieving the spiritual treasure flying sword, and looking at Tianwu's increasingly refined realm, feeling as if facing a great enemy. If it continues like this, after a couple more retreats, this child might form a nascent soul. Mr. Xiao, thank you. Chun Sansi had already roughly understood the situation outside the Great Wall through his subordinates. Knowing this person tried his utmost to prevent Zhao Rui and the others from returning. Otherwise, even with the formation, he couldn't possibly stand against 3 nascent souls alone. He continued, "Rest assured, Taoist, during the war between right and demon, I will never involve so-called personal grievances." Xiao Paksu's attitude was cold. So it should be. Chun Sansi cupped his hands and then led the entire army back to the Great Wall, reactivating the city protection array, handling subsequent matters. Your Majesty, Qi Chong reported after tallying. In this battle, more than 50,000 soldiers were sacrificed, including several Foundation Establishment immortal officials from Skywall City. In addition, 2 Golden Core cultivators from the Heavenly Water Sect also died in battle. On the Demon Path side, several thousand sect disciples and 20,000 Great Song soldiers, along with 200,000 blood demons, died. Costly victory. Chun Sansi's face was as calm as water. The opponent used blood demons as expendable resources, so even though they won, they didn't gain much advantage. Their biggest gain was arguably successfully slaying an ancient demon elder and destroying the slaughter vein at Bone-Eroding Ridge, temporarily reducing the pressure of defending the Great Wall. But that is only short-term. Soon the evil god Dao cultivators from Thundering Cold Continent will arrive to assist. At least, the war in the cultivation world is about having more great power. Amid this, Chun Sansi would not relent. He would both regroup the troops and continue his closed-door cultivation. The Swallowing Fire Technique, Golden Core Late Stage. Progress, 58/200. Just crossing this threshold will allow him to officially begin core formation. Heavenly water power began to clean up the battlefield. He only needed to surpass this threshold to formally start forming the nascent soul. The 100-deer-chasing moon bow was released, and he started shooting arrows. But he was not aiming at the target, rather at the distant bare peak, where arrows turned from goo insects fell like a meteor shower, crashing it down with a thunderous bang. He unwittingly became fully absorbed, reaching the realm of oneness with the bow, with nothing else in his eyes but the target in his heart. Chun Sansi mobilized the mana stored in his dantian, channeling it up to his arms, and with a tug at the bowstring, he shot forward, concentrating the mana into a light cone that shot out with a thunderous rumble. With repeated practice hundreds or even thousands of times, he finally succeeded in converging spells into arrows, aiming for simplicity and directness, with each arrow equivalent to the full force of a late-stage Golden Core cultivator, an unstoppable strike. He put down the bow and arrow, exhaling deeply. The previous goo insects, after evolving to the nascent soul stage, could store at most 1,000 or so, and in the full-blown state of the mysterious six-arm, he could consume them all in a mere moment of cultivation technique. Of course, afterward, his mana would be severely depleted, so he still couldn't squander it wantonly. Putting away the bow and arrow, Chun Sansi began to ponder whether he could create an arrow spell based on the sword chi skill as a sample. It wasn't difficult to create an arrow spell. The tough part was launching swift, accurate, and vicious arrows through the bow, converting spells into flowing light arrows. Success. Divine skill. Arrow Tau. Progress. 0 out of 2000. Utility. Converting spell into arrows. Converting spell into arrows, simple and direct, allowed launching sword chi through the arrow like a flying sword. Of course, after that, his mana would be severely depleted, and he still couldn't waste it heedlessly. He put away the bow and arrow and led the army back, eventually landing on a mountain with many cave mansions, where many sect cultivators resided. This place was within the Spirit Vein range, where many sect disciples lived. After the closed-door training ended for another time, he would break through to the nascent soul stage. Here in the Spirit Vein Range, the mountain sheltered numerous cave mansions, housing many cultivators from various sects. Once again closing the gap, Chun Sansi would not become complacent. He needed to focus on perfecting the sword chi skill. Master! Chun Sansi entered the cave mansion and first made a fist salute. The drowsy Mu Chutai slowly awoke, glanced at him impatiently. "Oh, it's you, kid. What do you want?" "Disciple brought you a pot of wine you liked last time." As Chun Sansi spoke, he placed a wine jar on the table, with red paper pasted on it, inscribed with large characters, 10,000 beasts yield to essence brew. Only then did Lord Taishan rise from the bed, open the jar, and inhale deeply through his nose. "This is good wine, but when did you ever bring me any?" He took a deep swig, then said gravely, "Speak. What do you want from me, kid?" Disciple has reached the late golden body stage and is preparing to strive towards the Dharma image realm. Chun Sansi replied, "So I came to request a cultivation technique from Master." "A cultivation technique?" Mu Chutai laughed coldly. "The dragon scripture is a first-class martial arts technique in both heaven and mortal world, and you think you can exchange a jar of wine for it? Never mind the master-disciple relationship. Apprentices must pay tuition fees too." Chun Sansi, already accustomed to his ways, merely said, "What can this disciple do to serve Master?" Lord Taishan drawled, "Your Aunt Jing Shu recently took in a new batch of disciples and needs some medicinal herbs." As he spoke, he pulled out a prepared list from his bosom. Chun Sansi took the list, glanced at it briefly, and immediately agreed. "I'll have the herbs delivered in the next couple of days. Don't deliver them to me. Send them to the Shaoxiang sect," Lord Taishan specifically instructed. Next, he extorted a substantial amount of spirit stones and other valuables until there was nothing left to ask for, before finally clearing his throat and getting to the main point. The fourth realm in martial arts, called Heaven and Earth Realm, you've already witnessed firsthand. From the True Power Realm to the Golden Body Realm, all builds the foundation for this realm. The Golden Body Realm, with its opening of 3 passes, 3 fields, and 3 orifices, seems comprehensive but isn't deep enough. The Heaven and Earth Realm focuses on the specialized cultivation of the 7 orifices. The 7 orifices I mention are not the bodily holes like eyes, ears, mouth, and nose, but the 7 orifices within the heart. Only by clearing these 7 orifices and combining them with the heavenly spirit divine sense can you comprehend the laws and manifest the complete heaven and earth form. This process is like using one's body as a furnace to harness the might of heaven and earth. These 7 orifices are respectively dissolution, micro-observation, connected mountains, hanging river, profound connection, burning rhinoscope, and hidden store. Next, I'll teach you the heart method mantra. Tianshu Thunder Strike, burn 100 corpses. Mu Chutai barely uttered the first sentence before pausing and turning his gaze to the man in the white robe. Chun Sansi, understanding the cue, carefully thought and guessed the next line. 9 origins return to truth. Enough. Not a single character is correct. Lord Taishan rebuked. Why did I take such a fool as my disciple? I told you before, don't just train, learn to deduce techniques yourself. Why can't you learn that? This disciple is dull. Chun Sansi sincerely said, the meridians and orifices in the human body are too complex, and the methods of operation are countless. It's tough to summarize the patterns. Please, Master, enlighten me. Are there any tricks? Tricks? Lord Taishan's anger intensified. If tricks could be spoken aloud, wouldn't everyone be able to deduce techniques? Figure it out yourself. Continue guessing. If you can't guess a single word correctly, then there's no point in continuing. Even if you manage to train, you'll be a waste. Chun Sansi took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and began repeatedly running through the first sentence of the cultivation technique mantra in his mind, using the previous guidance to speculate on the method of the second sentence. Within 2 hours, he attempted hundreds of operational methods, all of which were rejected until half a day later when he finally had an insight. 3 flames forged true Yuan dragon. Oh! Lord Taishan raised an eyebrow. Not bad. You got 4 characters right in one go. As he spoke to this point, his expression suddenly changed, pulling out an iron thorn's whip and lashing hard across Tian Wu's back. Faced with punishment, Chun Sansi dared not resist, voluntarily suppressing his cultivation, allowing the iron thorn's whip to tear a twisted bloody gash across his skin. But do you realize the 3 characters you got wrong could cost you your life? Mu Chutai berated. The most crucial point in deducing a technique is that it's better not to act than to act wrongly. If you suffer from a deviation, it could be as minor as losing some cultivation, or as major as dying and disappearing off the path. So, Chun Sansi, feeling the pain from the wound, noticed a faint trace of energy traveling within it, and suddenly understood. It should be 3 flames forged jade pot platform. Continue. Lord Taishan commanded sternly. Next line. If you get a single word wrong, it's another lash. If you can't take it, get lost, for I am always strict in taking disciples. The 2 master and disciple, within the cave mansion, spent 3 days and nights together. When Chun Sansi finally acquired the last sentence of the 4th realm mantra, he felt that even before cultivating, it had already become second nature, and the intricacies needed no outsider's explanation as he effortlessly comprehended them. He sincerely marveled. No matter Mu Chutai's character, he truly is a genius in cultivation. Yet, such a great talent can really be content to live in mediocrity? Cultivation technique. Dragon scripture. Glazed golden body realm. Late stage. Progress. 0/300. The proficiency panel emerged. From then on, as long as Chun Sansi cleared the dissolution micro-observation, connected mountains of the 3 orifices within the Heart Palace, then crossed the martial arts disaster, he could formally enter the heaven and earth realm. The first 3 orifices, being entry-level hurdles, allow the fastest cultivation speed among the 7 orifices within the Heart Palace. Yet even so, without 4 or 5 years' work, one probably won't touch the breakthrough's threshold. In contrast, the swallowing fire technique should be somewhat earlier. Have you prepared everything for the tribulation? Lord Taishan asked unexpectedly. Still preparing. Chun Sansi said truthfully, it should be within the next 2 years. I have a few old friends in the 10,000 demon country. Mu Chutai said, there's a good place there where you can engage in long-term closed-door training, and the chance of encountering things that can help you break through the Dharma image realm is greater in the 10,000 demon country. Do you want to consider going there now? You can also bring Jiang along. Senior sister, Chun Sansi recalled. After the last demon seed possession ended, Jiang Xia's cultivation once again rose on its own. Her current realm is probably not inferior to mine, and breaking through to the nascent soul should be a matter of the next few years. Moreover, according to previous situations, her breakthrough cannot be suppressed. The Eastern continent can only provide shelter but is insufficient for supporting a nascent soul tribulation. In other words, the senior sister will eventually have to take the risk and return. Lord Taishan's words imply that he wants me to take the senior sister away from this place of trouble and find a safe place. I'm afraid it's not possible recently. Chun Sansi said, as of now, the demon path has only temporarily retreated and could resurge at any time. Even if we were to leave, we should wait until higher realm cultivators from the Kungsu sect come to hold down the fort. Foolish, Mu Chutai said irritably. The life and death of the people here have nothing to do with you. Hurry up and leave. Don't get in the way here. Chun Sansi did not argue and took his leave. On his way back, he saw disciples of the Qingshu sect celebrating joyfully. After asking, he learned that the supreme elder of the Qingshu sect, Zhang Huiqing, had once again made a breakthrough, reaching the late stage of the nascent soul. After receiving this news, even he couldn't help but gasp. It had only been about 10 years since he had stepped into the mid-stage of the nascent soul. In such a short time, this person had again broken through to the late stage of the nascent soul, becoming one of the few great cultivators in the world. Such speed can no longer be described as genius. This completely surpasses the understanding of the entire cultivation world. Forget 1,000 years. Nothing like this has happened even in 10,000 years. If one must find an explanation, then there's only one possible answer: an immortal reincarnation. Otherwise, with normal cultivation, no matter how good one's talents, it would be impossible to achieve such heaven-defying speed. For Qin Sansi, this is actually good news, because it means that the strength of the Qingshu sect has further increased. With the relationship of my master mother, perhaps Jiang Xie's issues can have a turnaround in future. With that being said, could the array plate handed over by Su Taisu be meant for Zhang Huiqing? If the Qingshu sect can indeed produce a divinity transformation cultivator, it would truly become the fourth heavenly sect. Chun Sansi pondered, and after returning to the central army tent, he received a message from the holy sect, stating that within 2 months at most, at least 2 mid-stage nascent soul cultivators would arrive to provide support. Pass the order down, activate the city protection array around the clock, and enforce internal martial law. There must not be the slightest slackening. Chun Sansi issued commands by decree. 2 months is neither long nor short. He only hopes everything goes smoothly so that he can find the opportunity to focus on his breakthrough. Speaking of which, since the death of the ancient demon elder, there has been no movement from the demon path, and both sides have been peaceful, with the border incredibly calm. Oddly enough, on the main battlefield, Zhang Huiqing just happened to break through to the late-stage nascent soul. And before the war, the Heavenly Sword sect had clearly expressed hostility. Connecting these dots, Chun Sansi had a vague, ominous premonition. Bone-eroding ridge. The originally endless mountain range had collapsed more than half, and the remaining hills no longer hosted any sources of evil qi. Zhao Rui and Chu Sanyuan led the Demon Path army to retreat over 1,000 miles to recuperate. In the dilapidated Great Hall, Master Dongwei and Rong Rojuan sat opposite Emperor Tianxi, discussing something in low voices. "What did you say?" Zhao Rui stood up abruptly after listening, looking at the other party in disbelief. "Did Senior Huangfu really send you with these words?" "Exactly," Rong Rojuan replied. "If Taoist friend does not believe it, you can wait a moment. The token from your demon path, Duanhuan Senior, should arrive shortly." As soon as the words fell, a gust of cold wind swept into the hall. When the wind cleared, Chu San Yuan's figure appeared. She quickly walked to Zhao Rui's side and whispered a few words in his ear. Zhao Rui squinted his eyes. "I didn't expect the Heavenly Sword sect to go to such lengths just to kill Zhang Huiqing. The struggle for Taoist inheritance and Qi fortune has always been like this." Rong Rojuan said coldly, "Now, Taoist friend Tianxi, do you believe what I said? If you are ready to act, do not delay any longer." Master Dongwei said in a deep voice, "If someone from Kungsu arrives early, our arrangements could be exposed at any time." Zhao Rui stared into the other's eyes. "I want to ask, with the Heavenly Sword sect acting this way, aren't you worried about leaking information? Continuing like this, no more than 100 years will pass before Zhang Huiqing can set foot into divinity transformation. And by then, wouldn't the Heavenly Sword sect still face destruction?" Rong Rojuan said, "Rather than that, it would be better to strike first, and only a few of us know of this matter. Both Supreme Elders made great vows to the Heavenly Tao. If we leave no survivors, who would know?" "All right," Zhao Rui agreed. "Since even the Patriarch Duanhuan has spoken, we certainly will cooperate fully. Just notify me when you are ready." After discussing, Rong Rojuan and the other vanished as streaks of light.
Hehe alto viva.
Chu Sanyuan said eerily, "This Huangfu handing is indeed ruthless. I thought this time it would be very difficult for us to capture the Guangren Dao, never imagining such a thing would occur." Emperor Tianxi watched the two leave, eyes full of disdain. What so-called reputable sects, at the root only petty schemers, willing to do anything for their own benefit. The only way for this world to return to peace is to establish order and end the endless chaos. Taoist friend Tianxi, such ambition. Chu San Yuan's tone was filled with sarcasm. "Let us discuss how to proceed in detail. After the retreat this time, I specifically studied the situation and found that Sui Lian died at Chun Lei's hands, mainly because he was trapped in the three tribulations executing essence formation. Which means this Chun kid has profound formation skills. If we want the plan to succeed, we should guard against him. Zhao Rui nodded in thought, and after a short while, he loudly declared, "Pass the order. Starting today, spare no effort to launch a fierce assault on the Great Wall, ensuring that their attention remains on the main battlefield." Cultivation technique. Swallowing fire technique. Late-stage golden core. Progress. 62 to 200. Chun Sansi continued to cultivate day and night, never resting for a moment. When bored with practicing the technique, he would bring out the alchemy furnace to refine various elixir pills, seizing every moment to improve himself. His alchemy skills had long reached perfection, making third-rank elixirs practically effortless. To accommodate the consumption of magic arrow, Chun Sansi had already started refining fourth-rank spirit supplements. He manipulated the minute Dao changes within the alchemy furnace with divine sense, and after several failures, mastered the key techniques smoothly. But just as the elixir was about to form, the alchemy furnace developed a crack. It was apparent from overuse, nearing obsolescence. Chun Sansi could stop, meaning simply wasting a batch of materials, yet he found that at his current level, he no longer needed the alchemy furnace as an aid and could rely entirely on the fire technique for tempering. And with his near-nascent soul divine sense, he finally forced the damaged furnace into producing the elixir. Skill. Alchemy, 4th rank. Progress. 0/2000. Utility. Fire technique alchemy. Fire technique alchemy. Alchemy without tools, relying purely on hand techniques. Bare-handed alchemy. To most alchemists, there is a heavy reliance on fire veins and pill furnaces, and even different types of elixir pills require different methods for refinement. But wherever Chun Sansi goes in the future, he will be able to practice alchemy anytime, without any limitations. Another breakthrough in skills. He adjusted his breathing and took out the formation plate of the Tai primordial formation, attempting to repair the damage on it. However, as soon as he tried, he felt himself plunged into infinite chaos, with the rampant laws on the formation plate nearly shattering his divine sense. Chun Sansi hurriedly stopped. He was indeed a 4th-grade array master, but faced with a 5th-grade array, the gap was quite considerable. Even to repair just a corner of the formation might require the proficiency of a 4th-grade top-grade array master to succeed, which truly cannot be achieved in a short time. Chun Sansi wasn't anxious. He gathered his tools and then left the central army tent, preparing to inquire from his master's wife about nascent soul spiritual objects. "Your Majesty." Just then, Dongfang Jingxing hurried in and reported. Just now, Zhao Rui led the entire Demon Path army and returned to the outside of the Great Wall to form an array. It seems they are planning to continue their assault on the city. Upon hearing this, Chun Sansi leapt into action, transformed into a ray of golden light, and ascended to the sky, reaching the inundating demon Great Wall within a few breaths. As he gazed afar, he could once again see the battlefield seen from before on the wilderness. Hundreds of thousands of blood demon troops, connected by chains like beasts ready to charge, with demon path cultivators forming arrays above them, and in the skies, there were numerous bronze battleships. The only difference was that the wilderness no longer had the slaughter vein, making it difficult for them to rely on the dragon summoning array to effectively damage the city protection array. To break the array, only nascent soul cultivators would take the risk to come and strike. But without ancient demon elder Sui Lian, relying on just Zhao Rui and another is clearly impossible. Indeed, the demon path army merely surrounded without attacking. "It seems," Xiao Paksu said solemnly, "they are waiting for the people from the evil god path to arrive." "Ladies and gentlemen," Chun Sansi cautioned, "during this time, be extremely cautious and keep a watchful eye on the city protection array, for millions of beings at Guangrendao are relying on all of you. The city protection array consists of the Great Wall itself and the thundercloud above their heads. Controlling the array requires a token. Guangrendao has 3 tokens, held by 3 nascent soul cultivators respectively. As for Chun Sansi, he doesn't have the chance to interact with them. Mr. Xiao, could we have a word? What's the matter? Reluctantly, Xiao Paksu followed him. Chun Sansi said gravely, keep an eye on the token. Token? Xiao Paksu folded his hands behind his back. You don't need to tell me that. As long as I live, the token will remain. Should I perish, the token will be destroyed. I trust Mr. Zhao's determination to defend the city. Chun Sansi reminded, but others might not be as reliable. Others. Xiao Paksu quickly understood the implication and responded indifferently. Whether it's Shangguan Yunji or Feng Qingyan, they are true elders of the 12 upper sects. Even if they have personal motives, they absolutely wouldn't make mistakes in crucial matters. Chun Sansi couldn't argue. The battle at Broken Soul Cliff was a trap Xiao Paksu led people into. Logically, he's highly suspect as an inside mole for the demon path. But later, he risked his life helping to hold back Zhao Rui and another, which makes it unlikely. Of course, Chun Sansi might indeed be overthinking. Hopefully, that's the case. He couldn't say much further and instead chose to station himself above the Great Wall for 12 hours a day until Kungsu support arrived. Time flew, and dozens of days passed. Come morning, dense fog enveloped the area. Chun Sansi slowly opened his eyes, exhaling a turbid breath, completing a circulation. Cultivation technique. Swallowing fire technique. Golden core late stage. Progress. 81/200. He lifted his head to see Zhu Tong, full of white hair, dozing against the wall. Recently, the brothers from Pyong particularly liked to hang around him, claiming it was to protect their majesty, but really it was either to drink with him or to ask for favors. Snap! Chun Sansi silently approached from behind and slapped his shoulder heavily. Zhu Tong awoke with a jolt, wiped the saliva from his mouth, and hastily clenched his fists in apology. I neglected my duties. Please pardon me, your majesty. Enough. Stop pretending. Chun Sansi scolded with a smile. You fool. Speak directly if you have something to say. Hee. Zhu Tong scratched the back of his head. To be honest, your majesty, I do have something. In my life, I've had 3 sons and 2 daughters, most of whom aren't gifted either academically or martially. Only my eldest daughter possesses a spirit root and could have a promising future. Chun Sansi interrupted him. What do you think of Su Kan? Su Kan. Zhu Tong said casually. That brat visited our home frequently in recent years. He suddenly realized something mid-sentence. Is your majesty? Su Kan recently came to me. Chun Sansi spoke unhurriedly. He wants me to grant him marriage and the bride is your daughter. So, I need to seek your opinion. That kid went to you? Zhu Tong cupped his fists and replied. Since it's the marriage granted by your majesty, naturally, I dare not object. Truly, Su Kan has a good nature and gets along well with my daughter. Most importantly, he is also a cultivator, so maybe he could accompany the girl for a long time. His recent frequent disturbances were precisely to pave a path for his daughter. Originally, I thought about whether I could have His Majesty accept him as a disciple. Now, becoming the partner of a direct disciple is also a good choice. Old Zhu, rest assured, if Su Kan dares to bully the girl in the future, I'll break his damn legs. Chun Sansi laughed as he promised. Aside from this matter, is there anything else you'd like to say? Not just you, but everyone else too. Don't be coy. Whatever you want or want to do, just come to me directly. As long as it's not excessive, I will certainly agree. He could clearly feel that over time, the loyalty of the former Pyong brothers remained unchanged, but there was inexplicably a barrier between them and himself. Many matters, regardless of size, they liked to speak indirectly about. Isn't it because we're worried about disturbing your majesty's cultivation? Rumble. Zhu Tong was about to say something when suddenly a loud roar erupted from the wilderness. Immediately after, beacons of fire rose everywhere. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! Reporting to your majesty, the demon path has suddenly gathered its army and is attacking the Great Wall's third array eye. The third array eye. Thunderclouds rolled in the sky. Outside the Great Wall, golden light shone brightly. Shangguan Yunji had an ancient zither suspended before him, plucking the strings with both hands, turning the sound waves infused with vast mana into a dense barrage of flying swords bombarding the front. Chu San Yuan was hidden within the ghost fog, and with each wave of his hand, wailing souls surged and shattered the sword chi into fragments. As two nascent soul cultivators engaged in magical combat, a tide of blood demons, led by a large group of devil cultivators, surged unstoppably towards the Great Wall. The city protection array activated, and thunderbolts fell one after another from the dome, but ultimately couldn't withstand the fearless blood demons. Chun Sansi arrived wielding his bow, the 100-deer chasing moon bow expanding layer by layer, and the 6 arms of the mysterious spirit appearing behind him like petals. After pulling the bowstring, the mana within his body flowed endlessly into the bow and arrow, then transformed into arrows, raining down like a storm. Each time an arrow fell, it was equivalent to the full force attack of a golden core cultivator, causing a violent explosion of mana, leaving a huge crater on the ground and obliterating both blood demons and cultivators within. Chun Sansi stood alone in the air, preventing the million-strong Demon Path army from approaching any closer. Roar! From the west side's dark clouds, suddenly came a dragon's roar. A corpse dragon, stretching several thousand feet, suddenly emerged, resisting the thunderous attacks, flying straight towards the white robe, ready to swallow it in one bite. Zhao Rui, you shall not harm people. A loud shout rang out as Xiao Paxu charged in with the golden cloud sword. Both hands forming seals, the sword light surged violently, displaying a force to split the heavens, striking heavily. Boom! The two collided. The corpse dragon let out a wail, retreating back into the clouds, its body twisting and returning to human form. Zhao Rui, looking at the fiercely just Xiao Paxu, unexpectedly revealed a hint of pity in his eyes. I say, Mr. Xiao, why do you fight so desperately? What's with all the nonsense? I cultivated just to vanquish demons and remove evil. Prepare to die. Xiao Paxu charged with his sword. Chun Sansi did not stand by. He was no longer what he used to be, fully capable of participating in nascent soul cultivators' battles. He pulled his bow and shot arrows. The arrows always precisely grazed past Xiao Paxu's body and then landed on Emperor Tianqi. The split-core cicada approached opportunistically, then exploded close by. With assistance, Xiao Paxu's pressure was greatly reduced, allowing him to unleash the Qingxian sword technique more recklessly, intensifying the attack. Emperor Tianqi soon couldn't withstand the combined assault of the two, revealing flaws under his incapacity, until an arrow struck squarely in his chest. Crack! A sound of shattering glass was heard, and the heart protector magical treasure concealed at his chest played its role, preventing severe injury after all. But immediately after, he was hit by another sword from Xiao Paxu. Zhao Rui let out a muffled grunt, flying backward, struggling to stabilize his form above the clouds, and where he was struck by the sword, green smoke sizzled out. Zhao Rui, you brat! Xiao Paxu scolded loudly. You grew up in one of the 3 heavens sect's Purple Sun Palace. If you had an ounce of conscience, withdraw the army and return to heavenly water with me to accept punishment. Otherwise, today, I will make you vanish utterly, never to reincarnate. Mr. Xiao, aren't you a little too confident? Despite his injuries, Zhao Rui showed no fear, instead revealing a sinister smile. Have you not considered why I dared to attack the city today? He had just finished speaking when a chanting sound that enveloped the heavens suddenly resonated from the dim sky. Naimo Jiemo Bo Ri by Lu Zhina. The Buddhist chant resounded from all directions, majestic and mysterious. As if above their heads, a Ulambana assembly was being held, with thousands of Buddhas gathered. Chun Sansi was not unfamiliar with Buddhist cultivators, but this time, the scriptures the other party chanted didn't bring the oppressive fear he felt from the holy daughter Miao Tan, instead evoking a yearning in one's mind, an uncontrollable desire to comprehend it. This isn't right. He quickly realized this was some sort of bewitchment technique, trying to withdraw himself but found countless chains seemed to bind him, utterly unable to break free. Great Vow Heavenly Dragon, Prajna all Buddhas, Venerable Ksitigarbha, Prajna Bama Hong. Just as Chun Sansi felt himself sinking into an abyss, a distinctly different spell vibrated in his ears, directly shattering the bondage that entangled his divine sense. Junior brother, golden glowing Meng Guangxin appeared before him. It's those from the Buddha's evil god path. These fellows specialize in bewitching people's hearts. You must not fall under their spell. On the other side, Xiao Paksu similarly broke free from control. Together, they gazed ahead and saw the rolling purple Buddha light spreading like thick fog, quickly obscuring the sky and transforming the entire wilderness battlefield into purple. As the Buddhist chant became louder, a figure gradually appeared within the Buddha light. Focusing on it, it turned out to be a writhing mountain of flesh, initially resembling a gilded Maitreya statue. As the foul wind carried fragments of shattered sutra flags to their faces, everyone realized it was a living being. He sat cross-legged on a platform forged from a bronze incense burner, his belly rolling like waves of flesh, his ash-gray skin embossed with bizarrely inscribed Buddhist scriptures. The scriptures moved back and forth within the folds of fat, akin to countless maggots. Around his neck hung a string of multicolored Buddha beads, revealed on closer inspection to be refined from human bone. Evil God Path, a fourth realm middle stage cultivator. What kind of abomination is this? Xiao Paksu, unafraid, rapidly formed seals, the golden cloud sword humming and ultimately transforming into a golden lion divine beast, roaring and shattering the void, pouncing directly toward the mountainous, corpulent monk. Amitba, Amitba. The fat monk chanted hurriedly twice, then chuckled. Dear benefactor, we have no enmity between us. Why attack as your first act? Truly excessive, excessive. His short, stout fingers formed a mantra, and the Buddha beads around his neck levitated, spinning in front, dazzling with prismatic Buddha light, subsequently forming a vortex at the center of the beads. Bang! When the swan and I divine beast collided with it, it could advance no further, and under the strangling Buddha light, the golden light on its surface seemed devoured, quickly dimming and cracking until crumbling, revealing the golden cloud sword beneath. Xiao Paksu tried to recall his flying sword, only to discover he had already lost the connection. He could only watch helplessly as the flying sword was stripped of all spiritual essence, becoming a dead sword. The fat monk chuckled again, waved a hand, and easily took the golden cloud flying sword into his grasp. His spiritual treasure was able to seal the spirituality of others' weapons. Then seize them. The spiritual treasure, evil color reincarnation pearl. The fourth realm of the evil god path is known as the Bright King realm and corresponds directly to the nascent soul cultivators. And the monk before them is a renowned figure from the Buddhist branch of the evil god path in the thundering cold continent, known as Master C.I. Hang, nicknamed Little Maitreya. The evil god Taoist and Buddhist sect, unlike the true god Tao which is based on the Buddhist law of saving all beings, follows its own set of distorted theories. All phenomena can be consumed. Only by swallowing illusions can the true be seen. 7 emotions condense into relics, and 6 desires are refined into Buddha light. In simple terms, only by doing whatever one desires can one attain the ultimate bliss and realize the fruit position. And Master C.I. Hang's Buddhist philosophy is all beings suffer not due to ignorance but due to compassion binding the heart. Only by burning away false compassion with blood and fire can one see the truth of great joy. He advocates creating extreme suffering to help beings eliminate their obsessions. He is known for capturing enemies alive, then torturing them for decades until they become insane, and then using them for his own ends. It is rumored that the place where he is venerated is like a purgatory in the mortal world. At this moment, C.I. Hang made his move, using a Buddhist spiritual treasure to directly seize Xiao Paksu's flying sword. The gap between the middle stage and early stage of the fourth realm is an almost insurmountable chasm. Evil creature! Xiao Paksu lost his life-bound flying sword, his face turning pale with heartache. which then transformed into boundless rage. He gathered vast mana in his palms, ready to fight desperately. Mr. Shao, don't be reckless. Chun Sansi noticed that once this person started, he really couldn't control himself, and it was evident that they were not match, nor was there any intention to retreat. This sort of temperament, no wonder he got carried away earlier, insisting on chasing them to the Broken Soul Cliff. If this guy were to lead troops, he'd definitely be a disaster for the entire army. He grabbed the other's shoulder. Let's retreat back to within the Great Wall first. My sword! Xiao Paksu glared with rage, finally calming down, turned alongside the white robe, and retreated in the direction of the Great Wall. But at that moment, in the clouds on their flank, a burst of black light suddenly shone. Even separated by several thousand meters, they could feel the pressure within. Not good. There's another fourth realm evil god path cultivator. Chun Sansi immediately pushed the triple blood burning to the extreme, but it was still a moment too late. In an instant, the gloomy sky was torn apart, with dark red cracks appearing above their heads. These cracks were perfectly straight and orderly, surprisingly the ribs of an umbrella. A giant umbrella descended from the sky, enveloping them within. Where do you two fellow Taoists think you're going? Accompanied by a voice filled with powerful pressure, a Saiyan figure shattered the clouds, descending suddenly from beyond the 9 heavens. At first glance, it seemed as if the divine statue from a temple had come to life. The newcomer stood 9 feet tall, garbed in bronze chain armor, the surface rippling with a scarlet eerie glow, with blood and talismans constantly seeping through the gaps of the armor plates. On the chest of the armor, 2 bronze beast faces bared their fangs, continuously swallowing and spitting out the incense fire divine power mixed with evil qi. A cultivator from the evil god path, Xian Shalingguan. He formed seals with his hands, and above, 81 umbrella ribs pierced through the clouds. Each rib end embedded with translucent skulls, with empty eye sockets burning with green phosphorus ghost fire, countless phosphorus fires whirling and howling over the umbrella surface, forming a dark green vortex. Under the vortex, Chun Sansi only felt countless invisible hands grabbing him from all directions, wanting to drag him into the vortex above. Watch out! Xiao Paksu warned loudly, casting a spell with a flick of his hand. Mana transformed into a chain binding him tightly to prevent him from being sucked upwards. But the others weren't as lucky. On the ground, hundreds of Great Han soldiers and Tianshui cultivators felt like they were at the center of a vast oceanic vortex. Their bodies uncontrollably lifted from the ground, sucked one by one into the blood-red umbrella surface, turned to ashes in an instant. Incense fire spiritual treasure. Sinful sea heavenly prison umbrella. No matter who it is, as long as their realm is insufficient, being sucked into the umbrella means at most a brief moment before turning into a pool of pus. Yet Xian Shalingguan was a middle-stage 4th realm cultivator. Forget about Chun Sansi, even Xiao Paksu was severely suppressed in terms of realm. They were able to barely avoid being sucked into the umbrella with all their might but had no strength left to perform escape techniques to flee the area. Let's see how long you two can hold out. Xian Shalingguan snorted coldly, stomping hard on the clouds, intensifying his sealing gestures. The sinful sea heavenly prison umbrella above them began to rotate, torrents of black fog gushing from the ancient bones making up the umbrella ribs. Crack! The chain tethering Chun Sansi shattered. Xiao Paksu didn't give up, desperately grabbing onto the white robe's legs again, lending him strength, even if it would further drain his own mana. There was no sign of giving up at all. Mr. Xiao. Chun Sansi glanced down. Thank you. Less nonsense. Xiao Paksu, struggling to protect himself while sheltering others, couldn't help but grimace with effort, speaking with a strained voice. Use whatever means you have now, or the two of us will truly die here. Chun Sansi activated his golden body to the fullest, gritting his teeth against the blood umbrella's pull. He crushed a talisman in his left hand, and several array flags flew out, swirling around them. Once arranged in a specific layout, they emitted a deep azure light, forming an imaginary black tortoise over 100 meters tall. Fourth tier array, Black Tortoise Jun Yu formation. After deploying the formation, their pressure reduced drastically, but it merely delayed time temporarily, still not a true escape from the predicament. Crack! The power of the Sinful Sea Heavenly Prison Umbrella increased once more, and the surface of the Black Tortoise Great Formation emitted a teeth-grating friction sound, as if it might shatter at any moment. Meanwhile, Master C.I. Heng caught up from afar, chuckling, "Taoist Xian Sha, why not hand these two people over to this poor monk? Get lost," Xian Shalingguan said unceremoniously. "In this official's umbrella, there just happens to be a lack of two main souls. These two are perfectly suitable. All right, this poor monk's lifelong habit is not to covet what others hold dear, but lending you a hand should be fine, right?" As Master C.I. Heng spoke, he placed his palms together, his lips slightly parted, and began chanting a strange spell once more. Crack! Cracks began to appear in the Black Tortoise Great Formation, swiftly spreading until they resembled a spider web. Inside the formation, Chun Sansi and his companions' faces turned deathly pale. "Chun Lei," Xiao Paksu gritted his teeth and said, "In a moment, I will burn my essence to forcefully carve out a path, and you should take the opportunity to leave without worrying about me." Chun Sansi was taken aback. "It's not for saving you, it's for Guangren Dao. Once the Great Wall is breached, it will cause widespread chaos throughout heavenly water." Xiao Paksu spoke with increasing difficulty as he struggled to pull out a bronze token. "This is one of the tokens for the devil-dispelling Great Formation. After you leave, make sure to stabilize the situation. In a few days at most, reinforcements from Kungsu will arrive." "I have another way." Chun Sansi looked up at the umbrella. "If you, Mr. Xiao, exert all your effort, can you protect me as I approach this umbrella without being swept in?" 5 breaths. Xiao Paksu replied gravely, "This treasure is extremely formidable. Even if I sacrifice everything, it's difficult to contend with it, but supporting for 5 breaths should not be a problem." "That's enough." Chun Sansi's golden body fully activated, and the 8 Desolates' flame armor covered his body. Holding immortal fire lamp oil in his palm, he was ready to give it his all. As it stands, his abnormal fire is enough to pose a fatal threat to nascent soul cultivators, so destroying a 4th-rank spirit treasure leaning towards what attribute should not be an issue. What needs concern is his move, which might easily be noticed by Shen Shalingguan, leading to a one-way trip. But now, to survive, he could only seize this slim chance. With this thought, Chun Sansi was about to withdraw the shattered formation and work with Xiao Paksu to charge forward. But just at that moment, the distant clouds began to churn, and the thunderclouds in the 9 heavens started gathering in one direction. Master C.I. Heng and the others became alert. "Not good," Emperor Tianqi warned. "Quick, dodge!" Before the words finished, rolling thunder had converged into a vast divine dragon, its tail grasped by a figure who swung it forward ferociously. Master C.I. Heng, ignoring his companions, chanted a spell and used the instantaneous technique to retreat several thousand feet in an instant. Only Xian Shalingguan was left manipulating his magical treasures, with no time to evade. "Damn bald donkey, I knew you couldn't be relied upon," he cursed, having no choice but to temporarily abandon his immediate target and instead redirect the Sinful Sea Heavenly Prison Umbrella to use as a shield before him. Boom! The Thunder Dragon roared as it collided with the umbrella, nearly tearing the entire firmament apart, and the aftermath sent a hurricane powerful enough to topple mountains, surging outward. "Who goes there?" Xian Shalingguan retracted his spiritual treasure, leaving it looking like an ordinary oil paper umbrella. He sternly questioned the rapidly approaching light of escape. "Who goes there?" Kungsu sect, Mu Qing Ming, a dignified cultivator, appeared in everyone's view, his voice as rumbling as thunder. "Haha, I was wondering who it was. Turns out it's the legendary Kungsu Saint Air, the reincarnated immortal." Master C.I. Heng's mung bean-sized eyes revealed a look of excitement. "Amitba, if we can't catch the Miaotan little bodhisattva, seizing the heavenly water Saint Sun would also be a fine affair." "Indeed." Xian Shalingguan brimmed with killing intent. I've long heard that the Saint Heir is invincible among his peers. Today, let this official see just how formidable you are." Upon Mu Qingming's arrival, the attention of these two evil god Dao cultivators immediately shifted, not sparing another glance at Chen Sansi and the others. "You too. Shouldn't you retreat quickly?" Mu Qingming drew out the thunderbolt soul-suppressing whip and glanced sideways at them. "Let's go." Chen Sansi and Xiao Paxu managed to escape with ease. In the sky, Mu Qingming was fighting against the two without losing any ground, until they battled over 200 rounds. The two evil god Dao cultivators deliberately retreated, and the Saint Heir did not pursue, turning back to the Great Wall. Shortly after, the Demon Path army sounded the retreat, and the dense blood demon army disappeared over the horizon like a receding tide. This great battle thus came to an end. "Thank you, Taoist Mu." Shangguan Yun and others cupped their hands together. "Were it not for your timely arrival, we might not have escaped calamity today. It is I who came too late," Mu Qingming said with a steady expression. "Now with the war escalating, even the thundering cold continent has joined the battle. It's imperative to fortify the defenses. However, the situation on the front lines is complicated. Even the divinity transformation cultivators have come into play not too long ago, and this could very well lead to a heaven-shaking turmoil akin to the ancient times." After exchanging pleasantries, they inquired about the situation on the core battlefield, learning from gathered information that the situation might indeed spiral into chaos akin to the ancient times. Speaking of which, Chen Sansi was approached by Mu Qingming after the meeting. "Brother Chen Lei." Mu Qingming looked his way. "Could I have a word with you?" "Of course." Chen Sansi stepped aside with him to a deserted area. "Do you really feel that you owe me one?" Mu Qingming smiled faintly, with a subtle implication in his tone. "Then might I ask you for a favor?" Chen Sansi feigned ignorance, responding, "If you need any spirit plant, Taoist, feel free to tell me, and I can cultivate it with Emperor's breath soil for you. There's just one thing I can't do," Chen Sansi said frankly. The reason Kungsu sent Mu Qingming personally was probably not just for city defense, but also targeting senior sister. "Brother Chen, you may not be aware of the gravity of the situation. Where did the demon seed come from, and where will it go? These are things you know nothing about. Are you truly willing to protect someone just because she's your senior sister?" "I admit I know very little," Chen Sansi affirmed. "But why don't you tell me? Where will the demon seed go after all? Isn't your sect here because of my senior sister too?" "That's the one thing I can't do." Mu Qingming paused, sighing with meaning. "Brother Chen, you may have some time to consider, but not much. If you remain stubborn, we shall be forced to take measures. Ultimately, I do not wish to be at odds with you. Sorry, Brother Mu, but the demon is skilled in divine skills. Where it goes is not something I can interfere with." "All right then. I know what's at stake here." "All right." Mu Qingming saw that the other party refused to give in and didn't say anything more, shaking his head slightly with some regret as he turned and left. "Is it necessary?" A deep and resonant voice resounded by the ear. Chen Sansi turned around and saw Xiao Paxu walk over at some point. "Chen Lei, although I don't like you, I have to admit that you indeed have outstanding talent. The only difference between you and them is the lack of an immortal reincarnation identity. You will surely have a bright immortal path in the future. Moreover, with your contributions in the righteous and demonic war, you have every opportunity to negotiate with the holy sect, so why antagonize them for a demon spawn? Besides, slaying demons and eliminating devils is our cultivator's mission. How can you join forces with demons? If my fellow disciples ever fell into demonic ways, I would not hesitate to act righteously against them. These are two different matters." Chen Sansi did not continue the discussion. "No need to trouble Taoist Xiao with this. Take care of yourself then." Xiao Paxu flicked his sleeve and left. The day after Mu Qingming arrived, another mid-stage nascent soul cultivator from Sky Blue Tower arrived, reducing the pressure on Guangren Dao's defense significantly. At least on the frontal battlefield, it would not easily be breached again. Chen Sansi was able to free himself to focus on preparing for his nascent soul realm. He went to his master's wife, inquiring about the whereabouts of the required spiritual objects. Master Yuling informed him, Heavenly Gang spiritual marrow is refined from the bone marrow of the Heavenly Gang tiger Ku beast. This beast is very rare and generally only appears in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, which is adjacent to the 10,000 Demon Country and the Thundering Cold Continent, separated by millions of miles from here. I must go to Tiannan then. Chun Sansi nodded. It seems that what his master Lord Taishan said was indeed true. He must set out on a long journey himself. As for whether to bring his elder sister along, it needed careful consideration. At crucial moments, the witch would undoubtedly be a powerful combat force. But like last time, if she acted, it would attract worldwide attention. Bring Shi Yu along. While he was pondering, Master Yu Ling offered a suggestion. Judging by the time, she is almost ready to form her nascent soul. The Eastern continent cannot endure the tribulation. If delayed too long, it might become problematic. Master's wife. Chun Sansi asked, Do you truly not know the origin of the demon seed within my elder sister? Master Yuling denied. I only know it ties into something significant, possibly affecting all living things under the heaven. But as for the specifics, probably only Shi Yu's birth mother, Nangong Qing Yao, knows. Also, Mu Chutai might know a bit more than I do. Understood. Disciple has learned. Chun Sansi turned and went directly to Lord Taishan's residence. As usual, the other party lay drunk and slumped on the bed. Mu Chutai hiccuped drunkenly and said, What did you say? Chun Sansi repeated, Taoist Mu Qingming has led a group to arrive at Guangren Dao. It should be safe for the time being, so I plan to use this time to prepare everything before going into seclusion to break through both the immortal and martial paths to the fourth realm. Last time, Master mentioned you have acquaintances in the 10,000 Demon Country. Lord Taishan pulled out a hairpin from his robe and tossed it over. Go to the 10,000 Demon Country, Qingqiu Mountain. There you will find suitable places for seclusion. Thank you, Master. Chun Sansi secured the item but did not leave promptly. Still not leaving? Mu Chutai glanced at him, impatiently saying, Spit it out quickly. It's about the matter with my elder sister. Chun Sansi began to ask, I want to know, what is the origin of the demon seed within her? Why do people from the holy sect go to such lengths to obtain it? If they capture my sister, what would be the consequence? And if the demon seed is left unchecked, what will happen? If I can figure it out, I can prepare to handle it in the future. Lord Taishan lifted the wine jar, struggling to pour the remaining wine into the bowl, took a gentle sip, and then recalled softly. Before Shi Yu was born, Qing Yao had already sealed the demon seed in her body. The two were conceived together, inseparably linked long ago. If the people of Kungsu capture Shi Yu and forcibly extract the demon seed, then your elder sister would die and her Dao would vanish. Why did the master's wife seal the demon seed? Chun Sansi asked. In the future, if the demon seed cannot be suppressed, will it not harm the innocent? Although up to now, the witch had not wantonly slaughtered innocents in front of him, the pure demonic qi on her body could not be faked. Such pure demonic qi, who knows how many years, how much human blood sacrifice it would take to cultivate. Innocent. Upon hearing this, Mu Chutai suddenly sat up straight. The drunkenness swept away, questioning coldly, So, if the demon seed really endangers others, you are ready to act righteously against her? Chun Sansi replied, If it truly is so, I will find a mutually advantageous way, without harming my elder sister, and not allowing the demon seed to harm others. He still owes the witch a favor. For this response, Lord Taishan was obviously not satisfied, albeit his anger lessened considerably. He lay back on the bed. What happens if the demon seed is left unchecked? I do not know either. Don't know? Chun Sansi received the same answer again. Back then, Mu Chutai said gravely, the people of Kungsu searched us out. Qing Yao only instructed under no circumstances should the demon seed be exposed, yet did not specify how to ultimately deal with it. The reasons for it are widely speculated. If you really want to know, either go ask your master's wife in the Kungsu immortal prison, or ask the few old ones from the Three Heavens sect directly. Is the mistress still alive? Chen Sansi was surprised. She should still be alive. Lord Taishan said casually, if you really care, keep cultivating until you reach the late-stage divinity transformation. Then you can head to Kungsu and rescue your mistress. All right, Chen Sansi said. Mu Chutai was taken aback. Don't worry, master. Chen Sansi said earnestly and determinedly. If I can truly reach that point, I will do my utmost to bring mistress back, as a token of gratitude for master's years of teaching me the Tao. He. Lord Taishan was silent for a moment before suddenly bursting into hearty laughter. This? Chen Sansi was a bit at a loss. You? Mu Chutai wiped tears of laughter from the corners of his eyes. Do you think that just because you've achieved some cultivation, you're remarkable? Let me tell you, a genius like you emerges at most once every 1,000 years. But the Three Heavens sect has been ruling the cultivation world for over 10,000 years. Even among the reincarnated immortals, none have dared to fall out with Kungsu. Where do you get the courage to boast so arrogantly? This so-called holy sect might not be as indestructible as Master perceives it. Chen Sansi assured, as long as they show no mercy, one day, they will be overthrown. All right. Mu Chutai waved his hand. Go back to where you came from. There's no need for you to worry about holy sect matters. My only hope in teaching you Taoist techniques is for you to look after your senior sister. I'm serious, Chen Sansi declared resolutely. There are many things in this world that the only way to possibly introduce a change is to do the impossible knowing it's impossible. Back when in the mortal world, many regarded the county magistrate as the ultimate authority. But facts prove there's no person or sky that remains unsparingly above others. You may not believe me, master, but as long as I'm alive, there will be a day when you see mistress again. After saying that, he respectfully bowed and then turned away. These words were said by Chen Sansi intentionally. Back in Qingshu sect, Mu Chutai likely betrayed him, leading to Rong Rojuan and Master Dongwei finding him. They say a day as a teacher is a lifetime as a father. Though being betrayed by Master made him uncomfortable, he didn't hold a grudge, at most harboring some wariness. More than anything, he hoped Lord Taishan could rise from past events. Besides, Chen Sansi had a suspicion regarding Master, but after several tests with no results, it might just be overthinking. Taking a deep breath, he cast aside various thoughts and returned to the central army tent, planning to handle some miscellaneous tasks before departing for 10,000 Beasts Mountain. Inside the cave mansion, Mu Chutai watched the back of the white robe departing and clicked his tongue. This kid is trying to motivate me. Sun Xiangzong, you really took in a good disciple. No, now it's we who took in a good disciple. Only, I wonder if our disciple is a long-lived one. Central Army Tent. Chen Sansi took out his life-bound puppet, sitting cross-legged across from it, casting a spell to melt materials into the puppet. The life-bound puppet developed its own spiritual nature, inhaling and exhaling spiritual energy to cultivate, now at late-stage foundation establishment, just a step away from forming a golden core. This time, upon leaving, he would have the puppet find a place to transcend tribulation on its own. After long-term hardening, his puppetry technique finally broke through. Though the 100 skills of immortal cultivation sound numerous, they essentially pertain to the utilization of heaven and earth laws, having similarities among them, especially talisman drawing, formation, puppetry, and alchemy. Nowadays, although Chen Sansi has yet to officially break through to the nascent soul, his divine sense is nearly equivalent, so cultivating other skills naturally yields twice the result with half the effort. Therefore, once his puppetry technique broke through, it resulted in a double breakthrough. Skill. Heavenly Destiny of 10,000 Soldiers, Layer 2. Progress. 1000/1000. Utility. 5 elements as 1 wishes. 5 elements as 1 wishes. By using spirit stones of different attributes, the puppet can be transformed into a different 5 elements attribute. Chen Sansi raised his hand, summoning a humanoid puppet, and after placing a fire attribute spirit stone in it, discovered that it could even harness his chaos true fire. Immediately following was the second breakthrough. Skill. Heavenly Destiny of 10,000 Soldiers, Layer 3. Progress. 0/2000. Utility. Lifelike. Lifelike can employ soul and parasite techniques to control puppets, thus reducing the consumption of divine sense while controlling more puppets. Chun Sansi cast a spell, manipulating goo insects to burrow into the puppet. Instantly, the humanoid puppet came to life, moving deftly under the Insect King's control, ultimately capable of executing a single golden core explosion technique. This third-rank puppet boasted combat power comparable to a golden core middle-stage cultivator. Regrettably, the materials required to create high-rank puppets were very precious, and Chen Sansi ended up assembling only 3 puppets. The Heavenly Destiny of 10,000 Soldiers is originally a cultivation technique that enhances divine sense, and breaking through to the third layer bolstered Chun Sansi's divine sense once again. From this point on, his divine sense was indistinguishable from that of an early-stage nascent soul cultivator, potentially even stronger than some weaker cultivators. Seizing the opportunity, Chun Sansi didn't stop there and laid out talisman paper and pen on the desk, cultivating the way of talismans. At this moment, he was sketching a talisman of the 4th rank, known as the Immobilization Talisman. As the name implies, once used, it can directly immobilize the opponent, considered a powerful control-type talisman. The Tao rhyme contained within was complex, but it posed no burden for Chun Sansi, and after a few attempts, he found the knack and completed it in one breath. Skill. Talisman Painting, 4th rank. Progress. 0/2000. Utility. Nurturing Talisman. Nurturing Talisman. Nourish the talisman. Accumulating power. Nurturing Talisman. Chun Sansi had long heard that pure sword cultivators often needed to nurture their swords to enhance the spirituality and power of their life-bound flying sword. He never expected that upon practicing the true talisman manual to a certain degree, one could also nurture talismans. Simply put, Chun Sansi could store a talisman, nourishing it day and night with spiritual energy and essence blood, enabling it to break through its inherent power. Though this enhancement isn't limitless, it's constrained by the materials of the talisman and one's cultivation. All in all, it's a means to combat stronger foes. It's often said that every skill within the 100 skills of immortal cultivation, once trained to the late stage, will become a formidable existence, and indeed it seems so now. Alchemy-wise, Chun Sansi could concoct elixirs with his bare hands, greatly reducing the time required. For formation, he could store it in talismans, without painstaking efforts to lure opponents into the formation. Regarding puppets, provided with enough materials, he could cast beans to create soldiers. Talismans, allowing him to combat stronger foes across borders. A loose cultivator obtaining any one of these would undoubtedly secure his place, yet Chun Sansi mastered them all. Besides these, there's beast taming and spirit plant cultivation, which he temporarily couldn't focus on. After storing everything into the storage bag, Chun Sansi did a final check along the Great Wall and instructed Chi Chong and others on subsequent precautions before setting off. Given that Mu Qingming and others were present, it was impossible to conceal his whereabouts using puppets, so he chose to leave openly. As for Jiang Xie, to prevent any pursuers, he temporarily left her in the eastern continent. He planned to reunite after collecting the necessary tribulation items to venture together to Qingqiu Mountain in the 10,000 Demon Country. Qian Sun, it's time to go. This journey was long. He needed to first cross the Tianshui border, then pass through parts of the Great Wilderness and the border of Thundering Cold Continent, before reaching the destination. Unknowingly, over 2 months had passed. Above the clouds, Chun Sansi traveled through the sky, approaching a sky illuminated by faint purple incense, tinged with an aura of malevolence. Beneath him lay mountains and rivers devoid of spiritual energy. This place was the domain of the evil god countries, Thundering Cold Continent. Someone's following. Chun Sansi sensed something unusual behind him. On this journey, Chun Sansi more than once discovered someone attempting to use spells to lock onto his location, but he managed to evade them each time. Now it seems that he can't seem to escape anymore. Fortunately, he didn't directly let the blind woman accompany him. Otherwise, it would have been troublesome. It's just unclear exactly who is following him. Is it someone sent by the Kungsu sect? Or is Rong Rojuan and others pursuing him for private revenge? Chun Sansi didn't panic. Taking advantage of the pursuers approaching, he descended into a desolate mountain and took out a talisman. Heaven and earth. He recited the spell, infused spiritual power, and activated the talisman. Instantly, array flags emerged from it, swiftly arranging and forming a layout, while the talisman itself transformed into an array plate with flowing array patterns, resonating with the 36 array flags, and then transformed into streams of light that drilled into the ground, leaving no trace. At the same time, all the surrounding scenery began to blur, including Chun Sansi's body, which transformed into a pine tree, merging with the entire mountain forest. Fourth-tier array, heaven-deceiving illusion array. This formation is specifically designed to conceal one's presence in a small-scale array. Even a mid-stage nascent soul cultivator arriving here wouldn't notice anything unusual unless they lingered for a long time. About half a cup of tea later, a purple light of escape came from the north and swiftly landed in the mountain forest. As the purple light dissipated, it revealed a heavenly king statue-like armored cultivator, wearing a Vilu hat and carrying a blood-red oil paper umbrella on his shoulder, unmistakably Xian Shalingguan. It's him, Chun Sansi observed secretly. Luckily, he had prepared thoroughly for this trip. Otherwise, if confronted directly, he might not escape without shedding a layer of skin. Xian Shalingguan squinted his eyes, casting investigation magic and using divine sense to search through the mountain range, but found nothing inside or outside. He snorted coldly. A hint of anger appeared on his face. This brat runs fast. Buzz! Before his words settled, another ripple came overhead, and another light of escape descended. Focusing on it, it revealed a mid-stage evil god Dao cultivator. This person had vertically long eyes and 4 arms behind him, each holding a treasure sword with a blood-red eye on the sword's edge, looking strange and terrifying, practicing some unknown evil technique. It's you, huh? Xian Shalingguan relaxed his alertness upon seeing the newcomer and continued searching the mountain range. Duomu Daojun let out a raspy voice. I was passing by here and saw you, Xian Sha Daoist, so I came over to say hello. Hiss. He curiously asked. You two are summoned to return for support. Why stop here? Summoned for support? Chun Sansi was puzzled just now about Xian Shalingguan leaving. Didn't he worry about Guangren Dao getting into trouble? Turns out Thundering Cold Continent was in trouble. Xian Shalingguan said in a deep voice. Originally, I intended to crush a worm on the way, but now I've lost track. He changed the topic. How's the situation over there? It's said this time those baldies come with overwhelming force. The situation isn't optimistic. Duomu Daojun angrily said. Those guys take advantage of others' misfortunes the most. When I return, I'll definitely gouge out their eyes. What are we waiting for? Let's go quickly. Xian Shalingguan took one last look at the mountain forest reluctantly. All right, let's go. The two departed one after the other. After they left, Chun Sansi hid in place for a good 2 hours, waiting until sunset, confirming they wouldn't return, before dismissing the great formation. It seems Thundering Cold Continent is indeed in trouble. He thought to himself, this is actually a good thing for heavenly water. With no pursuers anymore, Chun Sansi could confidently proceed on his journey, summoning Chen Sun and darting into the sky. 5 days later, at dawn, Chun Sansi finally arrived at a border city of Thundering Cold Continent. This place is called Blood Refining City, home to the Temple of Bloodthirsty Demon Venerable. Here, like the demon sect territory in chaotic wilderness Yongzhou, the people not only have to pay homage regularly, but each family must also voluntarily offer sacrificial essence blood. Apart from that, it's not much different from other places in the cultivation world, with several families holding power and setting up workshops to accommodate visiting loose cultivators. Hanging Mountain Workshop is the largest trading place here. After disguising himself, Chun Sansi entered the workshop. Not far from this place is the entrance to the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. Hence the workshop sells various beast materials besides the usual magical treasures and elixirs. He wanted to see if he could directly purchase the needed Heavenly Gang spiritual marrow, saving himself from hunting in the mountains. After all, facing transformed demon beasts, who knows if there are companions nearby? Avoiding risk is always better. In Lin family's shop, a charmingly dressed female shopkeeper informed, Heavenly Gang spiritual marrow, such rare stuff, gets snapped up at high prices as soon as it appears in the market. How could it be readily available? Everyone in Blood Refining City knows Lin family is widely skilled. Chun Sansi handed over a bottle of valuable elixir pills. Please, shopkeeper, find a way for me. The female shopkeeper took the item, glanced at it, and revealed a look of delight, her attitude becoming respectful. Not just at my place, but indeed the entire Blood Refining City lacks Heavenly Gang spiritual marrow. If Taoist truly needs it, there are indeed two methods. The first is, naturally, that Taoist personally goes to the 10,000 Beasts mountain range to hunt and see if you can find the Heavenly Gang tiger Kuei. However, a transformed demon beast is no trivial matter, and being in the deep mountains, if it causes a commotion, it might be besieged by demon beasts. Often, danger outweighs luck. Therefore, I still recommend the second option. Taoist can issue a bounty order here, hire others to help you find things, not only gaining a wide range of information but also not needing to risk yourself. The only downside is that it's a bit expensive. Money is not a problem. Chun Sansi decisively agreed, offering some heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and temporarily stayed at an inn within the workshop, simultaneously inquiring about the recent situation in Thundering Cold Continent. Turns out, just after the evil god path sent people to assist the demon path in attacking heavenly water, the Buddha sect of the Western continent suddenly made a move against Thundering Cold Continent. Nowadays, many cities have already fallen, becoming territories of the Buddha sect. No wonder Xian Sha Lingguan hurriedly returned. This cultivation world is indeed getting increasingly chaotic. Chun Sansi stayed at the inn for several days but did not receive the desired information. When he was ready to ascend the mountain personally, the Lin family finally approached. "How is it?" he asked. "Has someone come to claim the bounty order?" "Not quite." The female shopkeeper leaned against the door frame and said softly, "Recently, with the state of war, those capable of hunting transformed demon beasts are all occupied. However, money won't be wasted. I'll give you a free piece of information. 2,000 miles from here, outside Blood 2 City, on Cold Spring Mountain, there's always been a Heavenly Gang tiger Ku beast lurking. Taoist can check it out there. At worst, you won't have to delve deep into the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, reducing a significant amount of risk." "Understood. Thank you, Taoist." Chun Sansi turned to leave. "Wait," the female shopkeeper added. "Blood 2 City is on the border of Thundering Cold Continent. Although not a strategic point, it may experience disturbances soon. Thanks for the warning." Without any hesitation, Chun Sansi planned to go and have a look first. He packed briefly and set off anew, arriving at the destination within a few days. The Dark Blood 2 City crouched on the ground like a giant beast, its surface enveloped in a layer of crimson boundary, indicating it's under martial law. Chun Sansi had to exert considerable effort to blend into the city and inquire about detailed situations. Like other cities in Thundering Cold Continent, Blood 2 City also worships a deity titled True Monarch 9 Refines of Blood Tuesday. This god is quite peculiar. The vast majority of evil gods have lived for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years. Their true forms are not in the lower realm but the upper realm, with only followers spreading doctrines in the mortal world, building temples, and aiding in collecting incense. Whereas this True Monarch 9 Refines of Blood 2, like Chun Due, is a worldly god whose realm is not the pinnacle, but has used an evil god's fruit position early, able to establish his own temple and accept worship from believers. This evil god's management style of the tributary land is entirely different from other places. He never accepts blood meals nor sacrifices living beings, but prefers to recruit soldiers and attack other evil gods' territories, then massacre extensively. On the domain of true monarch 9 refines of blood 2, every household must provide male members for service. Otherwise, the entire family must serve labor or pay heavy taxes. Therefore, he is either engaged in war or on the way to war. It is said that at this very moment, true monarch 9 refines of blood 2 is attacking another evil god's territory, yet to return. This undoubtedly sounds like tyranny. But based on Chan Sansi's personal observations, the local people's lives are much better than those in the rest of the cultivation world. At least every household is not starving or freezing. Upon winning battles, the evil god allocates the plundered items to every soldier under his command, benefiting their families too. Therefore, the local people worship power immensely, and even without spirit roots, unable to cultivate the incense fire divine Tao, people still practice mortal martial arts. Every street and alley, various arenas and martial contests can be seen everywhere. Bloodthirsty, belligerent. This is what this evil god's doctrine advocates. After learning all this, Chun Sansi inquired further about the tiger coup, thinking he would have to exert some effort, but it wasn't a secret at all. This transformed demon beast, with the name Huang Lulang, has dwelled in Cold Spring Mountain outside the city for decades. Originally, he loved descending the mountain to eat people, until true monarch 9 refines of blood 2 arrived here and battled him, causing him to calm somewhat, but every time the true monarch is absent, he still attacks the city. The city protection array is fully activated, not only defending against Buddha sect's attacks but also guarding against the tiger coup. Thus, if Chun Sansi resolves the tiger coup, it would also count as eliminating harm for the people. The spiritual pearl in his hand can support another 3 tribulations exterminate the primordial formation. Combined with his own increased power, dealing with an early-stage transformed demon beast, as long as not encountering a siege, shouldn't pose much problem. But Chun Sansi still refrained from acting rashly. He planned to first scout out the tiger coup's habitat, then find an appropriate opportunity to strike. On Cold Spring Mountain, demon energy is dense. The pitch-black trees reach into the clouds, with branches intertwined like a sheet, blocking the golden rays of the blazing sun. On the ground, there are scattered uncorroded clothes and skeletons left by living people, and occasionally, a few little demons carrying banners patrol. This mountain borders the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. It is inhabited not only by Huang Lulang, but also by thousands of little demons and small beasts, forming a small sect. Looking around, you can see at the mountain top a collection of splendid towers and grand palaces. If not for the corpses everywhere, those who unwittingly trespass might truly believe they discovered some immortal sect. Chun Sansi lurked in the shadows, waiting for an isolated wolf demon, whom he killed silently, skinned, and donned the hide before heading up the mountain. Xiaojiu, why are you still here? A dog demon urged. The king ordered someone to deliver wine and food. Hurry up. Yes, yes, yes. Chun Sansi nodded repeatedly. He came to the storehouse, picked up a large platter of fresh meat and blood wine, and under the guidance of the dog demon, entered the palace. There's a great formation here, Chun Sansi observed along the way, finding that the palace was protected by at least a mid-grade 4th-rank formation, making it necessary to destroy the mountain protection array before setting the 3 tribulations exterminate the primordial formation. The dog demon's pace gradually slowed. They arrived before a pavilion. Without stepping in, they already felt the bloodthirsty aura. Inside the pavilion, an elegant scholar and a middle-aged man were drinking together, happily chatting. They were relaxed, not concealing their respective energies. With chi observation skill, Chun Sansi captured this clearly. The elegant scholar was the transformed demon beast, and that middle-aged man had incense fire divine power within him, also surrounded by Buddha light, seemingly a secular disciple of the Buddha sect, surprisingly, a 4th realm cultivator. Rest assured, the middle-aged man patted his chest, assuring, as long as the Buddha sect army arrives, Brother Huang drives a beast tide to assist in the siege. Once accomplished, the Bodhisattva will receive you as a mount and later bring you ascending to the upper realm. Really? The elegant scholar looked forward, asking, Master Miaotan truly agrees to admit me into the Buddha sect? Could it be false? The middle-aged man exclaimed, Brother Huang, how envious I am of you. Master Miaotan is truly a reincarnated bodhisattva. Just a random blessing from him will be a tremendous opportunity. Deal. Huang Lulang said in a deep voice. In 7 days, I'll drive the beast tide to help the Buddha sect in attacking the city. The blood too true monarch inside the city is a nuisance. The middle-aged man inquired, Where is he now? If my estimate is correct, he should be on his way back. Huang Lulang said, I suggest we take offensive action, ambushing to kill him en route. Once he's dead, Blood 2 City will be defenseless. All right, let's settle it this way. The middle-aged man slammed the table and said, First, kill Shui Tu, then attack the city. Very well. Huang Lulang raised his cup and said, Brother, come and try this wine brewed with the blood of young boys and girls. It has a unique flavor. I'll pass. The middle-aged man declined. After all, I'm a lay disciple of the Buddha, and I won't touch such bloody things. Brother, Huang Lulang interrupted him, leaned over, and whispered, This wine can extend your life. Oh! The middle-aged man raised his eyebrows, picked up his cup, and took a small sip. Chun Sansi quietly exited the attic. With his current cultivation, he could handle a 4th realm cultivator, but if there were more, it would be difficult to take them down. Besides, there's the mountain protection array here, and he couldn't deploy the 3 tribulations extermination array. Out of caution, it would be best to find another opportunity. With this in mind, Chun Sansi sought a way to leave the mountain, returned to Shui Tu City, and began contemplating his next move. The best way, of course, would be to lure Huang Lulang out. No, wait, there's no need for him to lure. This guy plans to ambush true monarch Shui Tu. I can be the mantis stalking the cicada, unaware of the yellow sparrow behind. In the chaos, it might be much easier to win. Thinking this, Chun Sansi decided to investigate true monarch Shui Tu's strength to prepare thoroughly. He went to the largest true monarch temple in the city and entered the main hall with the pilgrims. Inside the hall, a clay statue stood tall on the high platform. This evil god had a burly figure, draped in dark red battle armor, with a dignified appearance and murderous aura, holding a heavenly halberd. The more Chun Sansi looked, the more familiar it seemed. The statue's carving bore some differences from that old acquaintance, but he was 80% sure this must be his senior brother. Lu Ji, what a coincidence. Unexpectedly, nearly 40 years later, first he met his 5th senior brother, and then he encountered his senior brother here. And his senior brother had his own evil god fruit position, which probably meant he had freed himself from being entangled with the evil god before. If his senior brother was here, then what about his 3rd senior brother? Chun Sansi exited the main hall and headed straight to the adjacent side hall. The statue enshrined there turned out to be another acquaintance. A man in a brocade robe, holding a long sword, exuded righteous energy and formidable majesty. The plaque below was engraved with 3 large characters, Prince Nye. After confirming his thoughts, Chun Sansi inquired around and then left the temple, heading straight for the city gate. Stop! At the steps of the city wall, 2 armored incense fire divine Tao 1st realm soldiers raised their spears to block his way. Who are you, and why are you here? Brothers, Chun Sansi said, I wish to meet Prince Nye. Could you please inform him? Prince Nye, the soldier said coldly. Whoever wants to see Prince Nye can just see him? Chun Sansi's identity was special, and he couldn't directly reveal it. So he said, Prince Nye and I are old acquaintances from decades ago. As long as we meet, he will surely recognize me. An outsider loose cultivator? One of them assessed him, completely losing patience. Stop with the nonsense. Do you know how many people say that every day? Get lost, or I won't be polite. Chun Sansi initially intended to find another way, but considering the urgency of time, he didn't leave and instead deliberately forced his way through. Looking for death? The soldier was furious, lifted his spear, and thrust it forward. Chun Sansi gently grasped it, firmly holding the spear shaft, and effortlessly broke it, then kicked the soldier to the ground. Enemy attack! Someone, quick! There's an assassin! The guards at the city were shocked and hurriedly gathered around. However, how could these first and second realm cultivators be a match for Chun Sansi? In just a breath's time, dozens of soldiers lay on the ground, wailing. Soon after, 2 more generals rushed over, but after a brief encounter, they too were lying on the ground unconscious. You have such audacity! Seeing that no one could stop Chun Sansi, a sharp figure descended from the sky, shrouded in majestic sword chi. Bang! Chun Sansi did not dodge. When the sword chi was upon him, he suddenly clenched his fist and fiercely struck upward. At the moment the two collided, a terrifying pressure spread out. The bluestone path beneath his feet shattered inch by inch, and the sword chi scattered in all directions. The attacker staggered backward 100 steps, using a spear to pierce the ground to stabilize himself with difficulty. Realizing that his opponent's strength far exceeded his own, his face turned serious, but seeing the soldiers lying on the ground unharmed, he noticed that this person hadn't harmed his men. "Who the hell are you?" Prince Nye demanded loudly. "You don't recognize me?" Chun Sansi looked at him, speaking in a deep voice. "We're old fellow townsmen from 40 years ago." "Fellow townsmen? 40 years ago?" Nye Yuan frowned, suddenly realizing something. "You're from Prince Nye. Could we speak privately?" Chun Sansi made a gesture of invitation. "Everyone, stand down." Prince Nye dismissed the others and led him into a room within the city gate pass. As Chun Sansi walked, he removed his disguise technique, then turned around and smiled. "Third senior brother, you are quite imposing." "Good lad. It's really you," Nye Yuan exclaimed in surprise and joy. "It's been decades, and senior brother and I have missed you all so much, wanting to come back several times, only for something to keep us from it. It's beyond dreams that you've come to find us. Come, come. I have some good wine hidden here. Let's drink and chat. I heard that you were at the Tianshui border, so why are you here?" "Senior brother is in danger." Chun Sansi interrupted the other party, recounting everything he saw and heard on Cold Spring Mountain. After listening, Nye Yuan's face darkened, and he smashed his wine cup to pieces. "That Huang Lulang, we should never have spared him back then." "So," Chun Sansi asked, "where is senior brother now?" "They started their return half a month ago, so if you consider the days, they should have reached the vicinity of Wushan by now, probably returning within a few days." Nye Yuan said seriously, "Junior brother, we need to hurry there." "That's exactly what I intended." Several days later at Wushan, a large army appeared in the desolate mountains and wild lands, each of them clad in armor, riding fierce beasts. Above their heads were warships. Red flags fluttered in the wind, emblazoned with 2 large characters, Shui Tuesday. True monarch Shui Tu rode a fiery fire horse, its entire body wrapped in strong incense fire divine power, appearing like purple flames. As they passed through a canyon, drums suddenly thundered on both sides, and the cries of 10,000 beasts echoed, followed by countless demon beasts and demon soldiers surging forth. They first unleashed various magic artifact crossbows and long-range demon arts, then swarmed towards the army like a tide. "Not good. It's an ambush, an ambush." The Shui Tu army panicked in disarray. "Huang Liulong's people?" Lu Ji squinted and quickly determined which faction the intruders belonged to. He slowly raised his hand, drawing a heavenly halberd from the void, transforming into a golden light as he leapt to the height of 1,000 feet, then crashed down like a great sun. Boom! The entire canyon trembled, and thousands of demon beasts were pulverized into dust in an instant. "Brother Lu, amazing!" Accompanied by a clear voice, a scholar dressed in magnificent robes appeared at the peak of the canyon, gently tapping his palm with a folding fan. "It hasn't been long, yet your cultivation has improved so much. At this rate, nirvana is within reach." Huang Lulang. Floating up, Lu Ji reached a level parallel to the other, his voice like thunder. Are you tired of living? How could that be? Huang Lulang replied eerily. I just want to survive so badly that I intend to use your head as a pledge, to trade for a bright divine path. Bang! Lu Ji spoke no further, the blade of his heavenly halberd transforming into a Taotai beast head, roaring forward to swallow the scholar whole. In Huang Liulong's palm, the folding fan turned into a curved saber, his body surging with demonic power, forming a sword aura before the blade, cutting through the void and striking the Taoye's head. A metallic whine echoed as both parties were blasted hundreds of feet back. Lu Ji formed a seal with one hand, releasing a red light from his mouth. Within the red light was a giant incense burner towering at 10 zhong, plummeting towards the transformed demon like a meteor from the heavens. At this moment, Huang Lulang, still reeling from the previous clash, had no time to dodge and could only endure it head-on. Instantly, he felt as if bearing the weight of the world, letting out a muffled groan as he was sent flying, smashing through several mountain peaks before crashing heavily to the ground. However, beast cultivators are naturally as robust as human race martial cultivators, suffering no substantial harm, only looking somewhat disheveled. Huang Lulang. Lu Ji stood atop the incense burner. After all these years, you've gained not an ounce of progress. When he first arrived, fighting this demon, though undefeated, he was always on the back foot, leading to years of stalemate. But over the years, the situation has drastically changed. Indeed, in no more than 20 years, I won't be your match anymore. Huang Lulang spoke grimly. That's why I'm in such a hurry to deal with you. Just you. Seeing through the other, Lu Ji sneered. If you've brought help, let them come out now. You're clever. You guessed it all. Huang Lulang clicked his tongue twice, shouting loudly, Brotherly, why haven't you made your move? Clang! Suddenly, a crisp sound of instruments clashing echoed from the distant forest, containing a solemn Buddhist law. Wherever the sound waves reached, birds and beasts exploded and perished instantly. Lu Ji raised his hand, directing the incense burner before him to block the attack. Shui Tu, a middle-aged man emerged, holding a pair of golden gongs, Buddhist scriptures flowing over their surface, divine beasts engraved at their tops. I am Li Yue, a lay disciple of Sumeru Mountain, here specifically to apprehend you, the murderous evil god. If you don't want to be reduced to ash, surrender quickly, and perhaps the Bodhisattva will take pity and accept you as a Buddhist disciple. I was wondering what kind of helper Huang Lulang could summon, and it's you, the false monk. Today I'll kill you first, then annihilate the entire Li family. Lu Ji formed seals again, cracks manifesting on the surface of the incense burner before him, until it shattered completely, turning into countless fragments that enveloped the space before them. A spiritual treasure, the god-killing cauldron. As long as the target is trapped within the incense burner, they can be refined into a pool of blood. What a treasure! Though I wonder how it compares to my heavenly bamboo golden gongs. Li Yue showed no fear, arms spread wide with the golden gongs, and then clapped them together fiercely, creating a deafening wave. Buzz! The Buddhist law rolled, temporarily pushing back the incense burner fragments. Meanwhile, Huang Lulang returned to the fray, his curved saber extending endlessly, its edge stretching over 100 zhong long, slicing forward to sever a mountain in half. Lu Ji's heavenly halberd also expanded with the wind, crashing forward like a collapsing heavenly pillar. The clash of immense forces created shockwaves that could almost rend heaven and earth. The 3/4 realm cultivators fell into a chaotic battle. Initially, Lu Ji, relying on his divine power and martial arts from his sect, managed to handle the two opponents with ease, but the Li family's golden gongs were no ordinary artifacts. Imbued with Buddhist law from the Buddhist holy sect, the sound waves they emitted attacked the divine sense directly. As a result, he gradually became exhausted. Clang, clang, clang. Li Yue struck the gongs madly, his movements so swift they left only after images, creating wave after wave of sound, forming a vast ocean. Not only was Lu Ji overwhelmed, but even the army fighting miles away, allies and foes alike, fell wailing in agony. Thousands bled from every orifice, dying instantly. Damn it! Lu Ji's expression grew increasingly grave. Not long ago, he had engaged in a fierce battle with another evil god Dao cultivator, still nursing incomplete wounds, and now facing an ambush. Old injuries threatened to resurface. Continuing like this would lead to significant losses. Though seeming rash and domineering in action, Lu Ji was careful and astute, and when the situation turned unfavorable, he wouldn't stubbornly persist. Leaving abruptly would mean complete defeat for the subordinate generals. Moreover, the elder third brother was still inside Xuetu City. One defeat would mean losing all the hard-won territory accumulated over decades. However, as long as the Green Hills remain, there will be wood to burn. As Lu Ji began calculating his retreat strategy, Li Yuwei suddenly spoke. Xuetu, if you run, that Nye guy will be obliterated. What did you say? Lu Ji was taken aback. Inside Xuetu City there was a costly fourth-rank city protection array. In theory, even in his absence, keeping the gates shut should ensure survival for months without issue. Don't overthink. Huang Lulang caught wind of his thoughts. A few days ago, I tricked the gates open, and now Nye Yuan is trapped inside my cave mansion. Tricked open? You fool! Able to deceive the elder third brother. Lu Ji internally sighed in relief. Had there been more high-level cultivators from the Buddha sect attacking the city leading to its fall, it was plausible, but the notion of being tricked to open the gates was absolutely impossible. He no longer hesitated and intended to turn and withdraw. However, having delayed for just a moment too long, the best opportunity to escape had already passed. In Li Yuwei's palm, a talisman suddenly appeared. He chanted a spell, and then golden light surged forth, transforming into 49 Vajra pestles, encircling true monarch Xuetu like a prison. Clang! Lu Ji swung the heavenly halberd, striking it against the Vajra pestles, only to feel as if he was hitting an iron wall. Not only did he fail to damage them, but the impact also made his arms tremble. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Huang Lulang pursued him, wielding his saber with both hands, slashing continuously like a gale storm, forming a dazzling and sinister lotus in the void with his sword aura. Lu Ji's heavenly halberd also shook the heavens and the earth, the clash of weapons sounding like thunder bursting across the sky. After stalling him, Li Yuwei once again raised the golden bell. This time, he no longer used it as a musical instrument but instead cast spells with hand seals. The golden bell swelled against the wind until it became a sky-covering, day-obscuring dome, descending towards true monarch Xuetu with the posture of twin peaks meeting the ears. Inside the golden bell, it seemed as if thousands of Buddhas resided, and the low and solemn chanting of scriptures emanated from it. The closer one got, the stronger the suppression on the divine sense became. Affected by this, Lu Ji's movements obviously slowed down, and the incense fire divine power within him also showed signs of depletion. The two golden bells moved in a buzzing wail to both sides, squeezing him in the middle, closing in as if two mountains were about to collide, intending to crush everything inside into fleshy mud. The god-killing cauldron. Lu Ji roared fiercely, using spirit treasure incense to block the left golden bell, while he himself held the heavenly halberd, firmly resisting the right one. The halberd blade grated against the golden bell, producing a metal sound that set teeth on edge. Even so, it couldn't stop the two majestic golden mountains from continuing to push towards the center, the vast Buddhist law nearly suffocating. Lu Ji's heavenly halberd handle began to bend upwards, the arc becoming more exaggerated, seemingly on the verge of breaking at any moment. Ah! The veins bulged on his neck like Cho Long. Surging killing intent and incense fire divine power burst forth from his heavenly spirit, rushing straight to Cloud Peak, swirling in the firmament, ultimately transforming into a towering Dharma phantom, standing behind him. This Dharma was enveloped in purple light, clad in bronze armor, its pupils like twin purple suns, clutching a heavenly halberd. However, This heavenly halberd was over 10,000 feet high, like a heavenly pillar straddling between heaven and earth. Buzz! Lu Ji cast the spell once more. The Dharma behind him stretched out its heavenly halberd, lodging it firmly in the center of the golden bells, preventing them from closing, then slowly exerted force, intending to pry open the golden bells directly. How could Huang Lulang watch idly? He let out an earth-shaking beast roar, demon energy bursting from his curved saber, and after accumulating to the extreme, he slashed downward. Though the saber's edge was only 6 feet long, the sword aura it unleashed was 10,000 feet long, as if cleaving the entire world, fiercely crashing down on the sky-reaching Dharma. Rumble! The enormous Dharma staggered a half-step back, causing Lu Ji's divine soul to tremble, unable to withstand the crushing of the golden bells, allowing them to close heavily. His armor shattered instantly, bones and flesh distorted. Even the meridians in his body nearly exploded. He employed an evil technique, forcibly suppressing his injuries, connecting his divine soul with the Dharma. The Dharma raised the heavenly halberd, momentarily repelling Huang Lulang, then roared, forcefully gouging open the 2 golden bells. Finally, trapped Lu Ji managed to escape from the golden bells, his old and new wounds erupting together, spitting blood on the spot, making it difficult to withstand the onslaught of the 2 invaders. Lu Ji! Huang Liulong's eyes lit with excitement. You once came to seize my territory audaciously, yet who would have thought you'd meet such an end? Why waste words on him? Li Yue raised his hand, directing the 2 golden bells to cover the Dharma. Once he's dead, we can return to report to Sumeru Mountain. Meet your death. Bang! Huang Lulang stomped his foot, his figure turning into a blood-red meteor, crossing thousands of feet in an instant, raising his saber to strike directly at true monarch Xue Tu's head. Demons and beasts may have long lifespans, but they eventually come to an end. With mediocre talent, despite cultivating for thousands of years, seeing his life nearing its end with no sign of breakthrough, he had long harbored thoughts of shifting to the incense-fire divine Tao, but never found the right opportunity. Now was his chance to defy fate and alter destiny. Thinking thus, the demon energy within Huang Lulang surged even more violently, almost staining the entire heavenly dome blood-red. His sword aura sweeping out, first severing a mountain peak before falling in front of his opponent. Boom! Lu Ji barely parried, but his body was flung backward until the Dharma extended a hand to support him, barely stabilizing his stance. On the brink of death, gravely wounded, instead of showing fear, he erupted into maniacal laughter. Huang Lulang paused. At death's door you can still laugh. Stupid beast. Lu Ji glared fiercely, emanating divine majesty. You think hiring help lets you fulfill your delusions? I might not escape today, but I can take you with me. With you? Huang Lulang scoffed. In your current state? Can you even stand firm? Found a sect and temple, receive worship, claim the deity's position. Lu Ji enunciated every word. Though I'm a newly ascended god, I'm a genuine deity. How dare you, an animal, blaspheme me? The words fell. The incense fire divine power entwining around his body turned from purple to profound black, and the oppressive aura drastically surged, revealing true divine power. What? Li You's expression was grave. He is burning his origin power, intending to perish together with us. You and I must be cautious. A black pattern appeared at Lu Ji's brow. After burning his fruit position, his mana could surge by 50% in a short time, enough to kill at least one of them. But after this, he would also be exhausted. He would fight to the death without regret, though he felt it was a pity that he wouldn't get to see his homeland again. Putting away various thoughts, he was about to ignite his origin power when suddenly he heard a very familiar voice at his ear. Senior brother, long time no see. Boom! An arrow formed purely of mana suddenly fell from the 9 heavens, buzzing and crashing forward. Huang Lulang hurriedly raised his blade, splitting the arrow in 2. He said nervously, Who are you? Chan Sansi and Nye Yuan appeared in everyone's sight, treading on a cloud.
You? Nye?
Huang Lulang was astonished. This guy should have been defending the city. How did he appear here? Could it be that his plans had been prematurely exposed? Senior brother. Nye Yuan hurried forward. How are you? Are you badly injured? It's quite serious, but I can hold on. With the arrival of his two junior brothers, Lu Ji got a moment to catch his breath, and he immediately downed a bottle of elixir pills to suppress his injuries. He looked to the side. Junior brother, why are you here? It's a long story. Chun Sansi took out the Longden bright silver spear. Let's first solve the trouble at hand, then we can talk slowly. I was wondering what reinforcements had come. Turns out it's just someone unafraid of death. Huang Liulong's gaze swept over. Though he didn't recognize this person, he could tell that this guy's realm was merely at the late-stage golden core. It's Chun Lei, Li Yue speculated. This person should be the Chun Lei from the eastern continent. Not long ago, Chun Sansi had caused a stir in the western continent, even injuring Zen master Yun Gue, causing the matter to become widely known. Now, the Buddha sect had essentially listed him as an enemy, known to all. Chun Lei. Huang Lulang was momentarily stunned, recollecting the name. How did he end up here? Never mind. No matter how famous, he's just a golden core. Let's kill him first. As he spoke, his movements did not slow at all, and with a breath, he pierced through the clouds, rushing directly to the few of them. Junior brother. Lu Ji coughed twice. You haven't formed your nascent soul. I'm afraid you're no match for them. Later I'll cover you, and we will retreat as we move. As long as we can fall back to Blood Butcher City, there will be a chance. Senior brother, look at this. Chun Sansi took out a set of formation from the talisman. Fourth tier great formation? Lu Ji exclaimed in surprise. Junior brother hasn't even broken through, yet is already a fourth tier array master? A fourth tier array master is a rare existence in the mortal world. To think back, he didn't know how much effort it took to procure a city protection array for Blood Butcher City. But his junior brother could exceed his realm to set up an array. Lu Ji was left speechless. He wasn't surprised. Wasn't his junior brother always like this? Even with the formation, it's difficult to handle both of them by myself. Chun Sansi asked, Elder brother, can you still fight? Lu Ji laughed twice. Rest assured, brother, I won't hold you back. He once again concentrated his dharma, sweeping the heavenly halberd to temporarily repel Huang Lulang, who had approached the crowd. Chun Sansi tossed out the array plate, forming seals with both hands as remnants. 3 tribulations eliminating origin formation. Activate. With an order, the boundary appeared like an overturned big bowl, covering everyone within. The heaven, earth, and human tribulations targeted the 2 enemies within the formation. The heaven tribulation pearl summoned rolling thunder, akin to a sword array, engulfing the skies. The earth fiend pearl mobilized the yellow and black energy of the surrounding 100 miles, forming a 1,000-foot-long Cho-long roaring and spiraling. The human calamity pearl awakened the earth lung's poison fire, turning the surrounding canyon into a purgatory. What a powerful formation! And how did he form it so quickly? Li Yue held the gold symbol like a shield in front of him to deflect the thunder, his heart growing uneasy. This Chun Lei, using some divine skills, trapped them in the formation without any prior preparation. Huang Lulang struggled to resist the bites of the Cho-long and the burning earth fire, already extremely strained. Suddenly, a cold glint appeared before his eyes, and before he could react, a long spear stabbed towards him. He raised a saber to parry, but found he couldn't catch the trajectory of the spear technique, taking a hit on the shoulder, where flesh and bones were instantly charred by chaos true fire. Huang Lulang let out a wail. Gnashing his teeth to endure the pain, he cast a spell with one hand to unleash a flying knife and reached for the spear shaft with the other, trying to restrict the opponent's movement to ensure the knife's hit. However, the opponent's spear technique was elusive as a divine dragon, and just as he reached out, it had already withdrawn, followed by a second spear strike to his ribs. Huang Lulang was left scrambling to block. This repeated several times, leaving several alarming blood holes on his body. Moreover, the true power attached to the spear blade could incinerate mana and was accompanied by an attack on divine sense. The most fatal part was that this Chun Lei seemed to still be in the Golden Core realm, yet the strength of his divine sense was indistinguishable from that of nascent soul cultivators. Accompanied by the mysterious and extreme martial arts of the three tribulations eliminating origin formation, Huang Lulang soon couldn't hold on, ultimately being hit again, shattering his protective demon chi, sending him soaring back several thousand feet, crashing into the array barrier before falling to the ground. Cough, cough. Kneeling on one knee, his face gradually twisted into a grimace. After thousands of years of arduous cultivation, how could I die at the hands of a core formation cultivator? Today, I must take your lives as an offering for my entry into the Buddha. Roar. A howl forced its way out from his shattered throat, and the whole mountain started to tremble. With the crisp sound of breaking bones, Huang Liulong's spine suddenly arched like a mountain range, blood-colored thunder patterns crawling over the bronze-colored bone spurs breaking through his flesh. His skin cracked inch by inch, and instead of blood, boiling chaos thunder slurry burst from the fissures, creating a vortex, devouring the sparse spiritual energy of 1,000 miles around. Subsequently, Huang Liulong's body rapidly expanded, transforming into a towering beast that could swallow the heavens, standing thousands of feet high. Dark golden fur draped like a burning star river, with each strand ending in purple arcs, bronze scales spreading from the neck to the tailbone, spewing chaos mist between the opening and closing scales. Most terrifying were the crimson vertical pupils, with the left eye resembling a blood moon in the sky, and the right eye a swirling nebula vortex. Heavenly Gang Tiger Kuei Beast. The beast roared, and its jagged, long tail swept through the sky, plowing 10 burning ravines in the void, the shattered space fragments turning into a meteor shower crashing onto the diminutive white robe below. Chan Sansi stood fearlessly, controlling the Cho Long formed from the Earth Tribulation Pearl, swallowing the meteor shower into its belly, then surged forward like chains, firmly entangling the tiger Kuei beast. Seizing the opportunity, he unleashed a magical treasure. The Luo Feng soul-locking nail flashed and pierced directly into the tiger Kuei beast's head. Howl! The tiger Kuei beast let out a mournful howl. Despite its massive size, its divine sense remained at the nascent soul level, previously enduring chaos true fire, and now critically injured, it could sustain no longer, its colossal body swaying as though it might collapse at any moment. Chan Sansi wielded the long spear, enveloped in flames, employing triple blood burning, embodying a blazing divine dragon, burrowing into the tiger Kuei beast's mouth and emerging from the back of its head, carving out a great hole. As he withdrew the spear, the heaven, earth, and human tribulations simultaneously smashed down, delivering the fatal blow to Huang Lulang. Rumble! The heavenly gang tiger Kuei beast howled and collapsed, unable to maintain Fat Yin Xiangdi, its form rapidly shrinking to over 10 feet in length, struggling a few times before falling still. On the other side, the injured Lu Ji, with the assistance of the Great Formation, was locked in battle with Li Yue. Nye Yuan wielded a flying sword, providing interference from the side. After Chun Sansi dealt with the Tiger Ku beast, he performed triple blood burning and rushed towards the secular disciples, joining the fray. The situation reversed. Li Yue was initially planning to ambush Xue Tu with Huang Lulang, but in a blink, he found himself trapped in the formation, facing an onslaught from 3 sides. I am a secular disciple of Sumeru Mountain and the current family head of the Li family, he shouted in a panic. If you dare to kill me, the Buddha will never let you go. Facing death, you still utter threats? Chun Sansi had no time for his nonsense. He flung a talisman from his sleeve, transforming into golden light that struck Li Yue. At the moment the talisman hit him, Li Yue felt countless spikes grow inside his body, piercing through his flesh, bones, and meridians, leaving him immobilized and as if petrified. A mobilization talisman, a 4th rank talisman, capable of exerting its full power against a fourth realm cultivator. Li Yue desperately stimulated the mana within, finally regaining movement after 2 breaths. But by then, Xuetu's heavenly halberd had already crashed down. Boom! His protective barrier shattered, and his body plunged towards the ground. Chan Sansi was waiting. He raised his long spear and pierced right through him, letting him struggle in mid-air until he stopped breathing. Dead. Pest! Chan Sansi retracted the long spear and threw the corpse to the ground, then released the split-core cicada to consume the remaining mana. After a period of devouring, these goo insects had reached the late stage of the 3rd realm, nearing the transformation realm. He then went to the tiger Ku beast's corpse and stored it in his storage bag. With all the core formation spiritual objects gathered, his next step was to undergo the red dust tribulation, then refine the nascent soul pill, find a suitable place for the thunder tribulation, and achieve nascent soul. After the deaths of Li Yue and Huang Lulang, their subordinates naturally couldn't escape a massacre. Around dusk, this skirmish in the wilderness finally ended. This place is unsuitable for a prolonged stay, Lu Ji said solemnly. We should head back first. The group returned to Xuetu's city. We really owe it to you, junior brother. Nie Yuan patted his shoulder and said, if you hadn't come over this time, the 2 of us would have been in big trouble. We're all family. No need for such courtesy. Chan Sansi sighed. It's been so many years since we last met. I can't believe you and the senior brother have been expanding territories here. By the way, senior brother, how did you manage to directly prove the killing god fruit position in the evil god path? It's a long story. Lu Ji still looked somewhat weak. Back then, in pursuit of a power above martial saint, I strayed into the evil god path and became a follower of the 5 passes god. Cultivating the evil god path can quickly boost strength, but it comes with many side effects. One of them is to offer tributes according to the evil god's demands. The 5 passes god loves live sacrifices. So day and night he urged me to kill. If I failed, I'd suffer backlash until I completely fell into madness, becoming a death guard of the evil god. After the Battle of Fei River, I was already on the brink of madness, so I left with the 3rd and 5th brothers for the thundering cold continent. To stall the 5 passes god, I had no choice but to make sacrifices on time, so I aimed my killings at evil god followers. In doing so, according to the master's philosophy, I wasn't harming the innocent, and I avoided madness. Within a few years, I became the most sacrificial follower for the 5 passes god in the thundering cold continent, gaining his trust, and became a high priest in the 5 passes god cult. I wasn't content being the tool of the 5 passes god forever, so I trained while seeking a way to break the game until another evil god guided me into a secret realm, where I comprehended the way of killing god and achieved the killing god fruit position. Then I stole the entire mortal world's incense meant for the 5 passes god, capturing all his followers and establishing my temples everywhere. You should know what happened afterward. I see. Chen Sansi nodded, deep in thought. Many thought it was only a matter of time before the senior brother fell into madness after he went astray. Unexpectedly, it was a blessing in disguise, leading him to his own path. Years later, Lu Ji had long been at peace with the master not passing down the dragon scripture. But even in peace, he never felt he'd done much wrong in his heart nor understood why he had to care for unrelated strangers. However, over the years, he tried his best not to harm the innocent because it was the master's philosophy, and he respected the master. Senior brother, junior brother, compared to you too, I'm lacking indeed, Nie Yuan said self-deprecatingly. First I trained in martial arts, barely breaking into the glazed golden body. Then co-practiced incense fire divine Tao, reaching the golden body realm as well. Practicing martial arts alongside incense fire. Chan Sansi said, Third brother, maybe you could try incense fire martial arts. Incense fire martial arts? Nie Yuan was taken aback, puzzled. Incense fire is incense fire. Martial arts is martial arts. How could they be mixed? They actually can. Chan Sansi explained the elder's exploits to the 2 of them. Great! Lu Ji and his companion exchanged glances, first in astonishment, then with deep emotion, said, "Our nephew is quite remarkable. He might surpass you as a father in the future." "I hope so." Chun Sansi started chatting enthusiastically with the two senior brothers. It was only after an hour that they returned to the main topic. This time, Nye Yuan analyzed, "We've killed Li Yue. The Buddhists will surely send more forces to attack Bloodslayer City. With just a few of us, I'm afraid we'll struggle to cope." "Indeed." Chun Sansi nodded and said, "Not long ago, I encountered someone from the Buddhists. That Zen Master Yun Gui is quite impressive. If he comes personally, we certainly won't be able to hold out." "Eldest brother, what do you plan to do next?" Lu Ji stood up, paced to the bedside, and gazed solemnly out the window. After a long time, he made a decision. "Abandon the city." "Oh," Chun Sansi asked, "have you thought of other solutions?" "Over the years, I've offended many people in the thundering cold continent. Once the battle begins, other evil god cities won't help but will instead stab us in the back. We'll be facing enemies from all sides, and forcing the city defense will only lead to death. Since we know this will happen, it's better to abandon the city and leave." Lu Ji said gravely, "For me, it's just losing some territory. After the war between the evil god path and the Buddhists subsides, I'll return." "That's fine too," Chun Sansi agreed. "A Buddhist siege is better than attacks from other evil god believers. Even if the monks occupy the city, they won't openly massacre and perform blood sacrifice. Forcing the city defense would only cause unnecessary casualties. It seems the incense we've painstakingly accumulated over the years will be entirely seized." Nye Yuan sighed. "Boss, where should we go after abandoning the city? Why not head south to the 10,000 demon country, which is in chaos now, and seize the opportunity to expand and gather incense? How about heading north?" Chun Sansi suggested. "The Tianshui border is in war with the demon blade and is short of manpower." Lu Ji hesitated. "Eldest brother, you're not a Han minister, only an ally." Chun Sansi perceived the thought. His eldest brother was proud and never submitted to anyone except their master. Back then, his brother left quietly not only due to matters of the evil god path, but also because he didn't want to bow to himself. "After the Great War, you can return or head south. Consider it a plea from your younger brother." He saluted heavily. "Boss, I think it's doable," Nye Yuan said with some anticipation. "Just right to meet the other senior and junior brothers." Lu Ji found no reason to refuse. "Since my junior asks with fellow kin ties, how can I, as the eldest brother, not help?" "Thank you, eldest brother." Chun Sansi gave ample respect. "Junior brother, you should be nearing the nascent soul stage, right?" Lu Ji said, "I have a hidden cave mansion elsewhere with fourth-rank spiritual veins. You can undergo tribulation there, and we'll protect you." "That would be best." According to the original plan, Chun Sansi intended to head directly to the 10,000 demon country for secluded cultivation, but advancing to the nascent soul realm early would undoubtedly provide more security for the journey. "No time to lose. Let's set off now." Lu Ji and the others began preparing to abandon the city. They first dismissed the soldiers, then distributed the grain and supplies within the city, and finally dismantled the city protection array, announcing their departure. Hearing this, not a single soldier or citizen within the city wasn't on their knees to see them off. Lu Ji's martial governance might have seemed militaristic, but in the thundering cold continent, strewn with evil god temples, it was almost paradise. Here, the people had long regarded him as a venerable deity rather than an evil god. "Respectfully see Bloodslayer True Monarch off. Respectfully see the true monarch off." Amid the mountain cries, Lu Ji and others boarded an airship and vanished at the horizon. Not half a day after their departure, the formidable Buddhist army stormed in. The leader was a white eyebrow monk, one of the Sumeru mountain elders, Xian Du monk. He stopped high in the sky, gazing at the peaceful Bloodslayer city ahead, surprisingly seeing no soldiers. Even the city protection array had been withdrawn. "Why does it look like an empty city?" A disciple squinted. Master, could it be a trap? Amitba. Xiandu spoke. Hui Kong. Take some people to check it out. All right. Hui Kong personally led several secular disciples to investigate, and soon returned with a report. Master, it really is empty inside. That bloodslayer true monarch, after killing Li Yuwei, knew he couldn't stop us. So he abandoned the city and fled. Should we chase them? They shouldn't have gone far. Let it be. Xiandu monk sighed. Our task is to occupy this place and await the Eastern Army's message for immediate support. We must not leave without authorization. Hui Kong sternly spoke. Master, that bloodslayer true monarch has killed countless lives. How can we let him escape? Why don't you stay and guard the city while I pursue them? Nonsense. The white eyebrow monk scolded. You're a golden body realm cultivator. Can you contend with a bright king realm? I say, Hui Kong, why have you become increasingly impetuous? How about this? After the city stabilizes, you can find your uncle Miao Tan and accompany her to undergo the red dust tribulation to temper your temperament. Red dust tribulation? Hui Kong scratched his head. If we enter the red dust as monks, are we still considered monks? Only by entering the red dust can one truly transcend it. Xiandu monk said, moreover, you shouldn't underestimate this hurdle. Countless prodigiously talented cultivators, despite their rapid cultivation progress, are deadlocked at the red dust tribulation. Going with your uncle is considered as early experience. Disciple understands. Hui Kong placed his palms together in salutation. Da Qi country. This place, located on the Sea of Chaos south of the thundering cold continent and western continent, is a small continent with no significant spiritual veins nor any minerals. Hence there are rarely any cultivators present. Almost like the eastern continent, it is truly a mortal land. The three brothers, Lu Ji and his companions, disguised themselves as ordinary people upon arriving here. Back when we first arrived at the thundering cold continent, we were pursued fiercely and only managed to evade here. Nye Yuan pointed at the mountains ahead. In a twist of fate, we found a secret realm valley with fourth-rank spiritual veins in the deep mountains. No one will disturb us here, and it happens to have a mortal dynasty. Lu Ji continued, Junior brother, you can first find a place to undergo the red dust tribulation, and after enlightenment, proceed directly to the spiritual vein location for thunder tribulation. There won't be any external interference, making it an excellent secluded cultivation ground. Chun Sansi asked, does senior brother have any experience with the red dust tribulation? Lu Ji shook his head. The red dust tribulation is unique to everyone, and the way to achieve enlightenment varies greatly. If I speak aimlessly, it might mislead you. I understand. Chun Sansi replied quietly. Then, Lu Ji paused. Third brother and I will head into the mountains to recuperate. After you finish undergoing tribulation, come find us. Farewell. After seeing off the two, Chun Sansi took a deep breath and began contemplating how to undergo the red dust tribulation. Over the years, he had perused many books on undergoing tribulations. The so-called red dust tribulation is essentially a heart tribulation. Cultivators often need to shed their mana and immerse themselves in mortal life until one day their heart reaches clarity and they gain insight, marking the successful completion of the tribulation. However, there is no specific standard, and how to undergo tribulation depends entirely on the individual cultivator. It's said that many are unafraid of thunder tribulation but are worn down by the red dust tribulation. Integrating into the red dust, Chun Sansi pondered silently. He thought this task wouldn't be difficult for him. Since he was here, he decided first to find a suitable place to settle. After decades of relentless cultivation day and night, Chun Sansi was somewhat fatigued and could use the red dust tribulation as an opportunity to rest. Gunyu town. Withered vines, old trees, dim crows, a small bridge, flowing water, people dwell. Brother Shirtu, what did you bring back today? Chun Sansi, clothed in coarse hemp garments, returned with a bamboo pole. A dark-skinned young man eagerly stepped forward to greet him. I just caught a wild boar. The good stuff is deeper in the mountains, but it's all within the Wu family's territory. Chun Sansi said as he placed the hefty wild boar down. Such a big pig. It'll last our family a good while. Second brother, aren't you going to help carry it? The young man shouted towards a dilapidated courtyard behind them. Coming, coming. A rascally man emerged, chewing a dog's tail grass, his eyes lighting up at the sight of the wild boar. Sure too, you've truly outdone yourself. Together, they moved the wild boar into the courtyard. This was the place where Chun Sansi underwent his red dust cultivation. About 2 months ago, he disguised himself as a refugee and arrived at the Nyo family village, where he was taken in by this family. Later, using his hunting skills, he decided to stay. This family carried the surname Zhang, with 7 members in total. The head of the household, Zhang Wei, was a household head in the court's garrison. The eldest son was a scholar. The second son was idle and often conned people, while the youngest son intended to follow in his father's footsteps, enlisting in the military. Zhang Wei was considered a rare honest official in the Deqi court. Despite being a household head, he lived no better than the average family during this great wilderness period, struggling to provide meals day by day. Zhang Wei returned from his shift, laughing heartily upon seeing the cleaned wild boar in the courtyard. Sure too. Where did you learn such excellent hunting skills? There are quite a few hunters around our nearby towns, but I've never heard of anyone who can consistently bring meat down from the mountains. An inherited skill for survival. Chun Sansi replied casually. There are actually plenty of game in the mountains near Gunyu town. What a waste! Zhang Wei lamented. With your archery skills alone, you should enlist in the military. Chun Sansi answered. I'm timid. I only dare to shoot beasts, not humans. Do you want to learn martial arts? Zhang Wei said solemnly. Your root bone is good. Even if you don't enlist, with the current chaos, practicing martial arts to strengthen your body is advisable. Brother Zhang, I dislike fighting and killing. Chun Sansi politely declined. It's better not to learn. Alas. Zhang Wei sighed deeply, reluctant to press further. Start the fire and prepare the meal. Zhang En, usually idle, busied himself. It's perfect timing since the eldest is coming back tonight. He should enjoy some meat too. Eldest brother. The third son, Zhang, she said. The eldest failed the examination again. I'm afraid he won't even be in the mood to talk to us. What a pity. Chun Sansi echoed. The eldest of the Zhang family, Zhang Ping, was a scholar whose greatest dream was to pass the imperial exams and enter the capital city, but regretfully, he failed repeatedly over 10 years. Hey! Zhang Wei sneered. That bookworm is just foolish, wasting so many years. If he listened to me and went into business, our family would have been wealthy long ago. Cough, cough. The third son coughed a couple of times as a reminder. Soon they saw the handsome eldest, Zhang Ping, unknowingly had arrived in the courtyard, carrying a book basket and with a gloomy face. He cast a glance at his 2 brothers and went straight into the house. He heard it fine. I'm only thinking for his own good. The second brother was indifferent. Ping air. Zhang Wei couldn't help but speak. Since you can't pass, then don't try anymore. Come back and learn martial arts. Joining the military with your third brother isn't a bad path. What's the use of learning martial arts? Zhang Ping argued. The court is corrupt. Dishonest officials prevail across the land. Even if my martial skills are high, can I cleanse corruption and restore the country? Only by passing the exam, becoming a first-grade official with the power to fulfill dreams, can I revitalize Deqi. The family lacks silver to support your studies. What? Dad, I will definitely pass next time. Father and son began to argue. Chun Sansi didn't listen further. Instead, he returned to his secluded courtyard and closed his eyes, connecting with the puppet. By this method, he could continuously monitor the recent developments over there. In the months after he left, with Mu Qingming overseeing the Great Wall, no thrilling incidents had occurred, remaining solidly defended. Once confirming there were no issues, Chun Sansi relaxed, planning to focus on enduring his red dust tribulation. This red dust tribulation, Some people can pass it in 2 or 3 years, while others remain unenlightened even after 20 or 30 years. It squares entirely upon oneself. Just don't waste too much time on me. Chun Sansi understood that he shouldn't be impatient and instead should let things unfold naturally. Thus, he settled in Gunyu town, living long-term as a hunter, calculating by Eastern Continent's timeline. Now it's the 39th year of Tianwu. In the past, when browsing old texts, he read a nascent soul-loose cultivator had mentioned, "It's best to observe and think a lot," always summarizing in red dust cultivation. Consequently, Chun Sansi regularly recorded his mundane experiences. The 39th year of Tianwu. This year, while residing with the Zhang family, apart from mountain hunting, he looked for secluded places to practice alchemy and hone his skills, living in great peace. The peacefulness initially made Chun Sansi a bit anxious. He hadn't rested for many years, so naturally he felt some discomfort. The 40th year of Tianwu. With famine just behind them, several surrounding cities were again struck by pestilence. His mana couldn't heal mortals. Thus all he could do was gather herbs in the mountains and deliver them to various clinics. Speaking of which, a new clinic opened in Gunyu town, featuring a stunningly beautiful female doctor.